Hey everyone, if anybody comes in here. Hello, hello. I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit and try to get everything set up. Trying to get the link. Oh, no, I'm going to post a comment. Okay, I think I've got the link in there. No. If I go over here. I'm still so new at all of this and trying to get everything together. Hey, Triple. How's your day going? Hopefully it's better than mine. How's all the drama on YouTube you've been going through? Has any of it gotten better at least? Oh, yeah, that's good. Well, not the snow part, but I miss snow. Everybody thinks I'm crazy because I miss snow, but I do. Oh, no. Well, that's not good. It's supposed to calm down a little bit for you. Yeah, right? It only got cold for, I think, maybe like a week down here, and it wasn't even cold. It was probably like 62. Maybe it got down to 50, but that was about it. I know that I don't know, it's just weird that when you're in January, February, December for Christmas, I just don't think that you should be able to like go outside and wear shorts or go swimming. It's just so weird to me. Maybe if you're born in the weather that's really hot like that, you're used to it, but I just can't get used to decorating a palm tree instead of like a Christmas tree. I mean, you could decorate a Christmas tree, but a lot of people in Florida, they decorate palm trees. Oh, cool. Do you ever go down and visit them? Oh, you haven't been down. Have you ever been down here to Florida? That's cool. Yeah, you'll like it down here though. It'll be really different for you. I remember one thing that when I first came down here, it's like a whole nother world down here. It's weird. I mean, it's not really, it's just very different. Like up north, I don't really know how to explain it, but we move at a faster pace. Like you'll notice it when you come down here. Oh, you've been to Miami? So, okay, so do you know what I'm talking about? Where like down here it's slower? Like I don't even care if you go into like a McDonald's or something, they even work slower. Like not like mentally slow, but it's just like I don't know, they're laid back down here. So not really I don't know the word for it. They're just slow. It's just different. Like not really in a bad way, but it's just way different from up north. I listened to what you had told me too, Triple, about like using another phone and going on your YouTube while you're on the other while you're on your live to do the pinned comment and stuff. And I think it worked. But I don't know how to do wrenches or anything either, so I think I'm gonna try to like give you a wrench since you're in here. And if it works, let me know. Because I don't have anybody to really practice on. No problem. I don't even really know what you're supposed to do with the wrench game. My God, every channel holder does it different, right? Like people go crazy over wrenches. I don't really know what. Well, I guess I can understand why. Because if you have a wrench, you can say what you want to say, and nobody can really block you except for the channel holder. So maybe that's why. Hey, Seahawks! How are you doing, love? How's the weather over in Hawaii? It's probably hot like here. Ugh. Oh, you're in Texas? Oh no, with all the shit that's going on, are you serious? Oh, you said only do wrenches for those who you trust and who can be fair. Okay. Well, I'm gonna see. Let me see if I can give you one, and let me know if it works. And can you tell me, Seahawks? Like, Triple was trying to explain to me how to pin my Cash App. Can you tell me if you see it pinned? Because I can't see it. That sucks. I can't believe you're in Texas during all this shit that's happening. That's horrible. Okay, it's pinned. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. You've got your. Okay, awesome. Yay! You're the first and only wrench person in my channel or on my whatever. Well, that's cool. So now I know how to do it. Okay. I can't believe that. That's crazy. So, do, do you have power and everything? Are you safe where you're at? Like, are you snowed in or what? You poor thing. You must have went there to visit somebody or something. 16? Ew. Yeah, exactly. It probably, well, and you're 80 plus? Yeah. Okay, awesome. Trying to get used to myself being up here talking to myself. It's so weird, strange. I guess it takes a little time to get used to, but I'm gonna see if I can put the link in again too. It's probably gonna be way easier to do it once I get like a laptop or a desktop or something. It's probably you could probably do way more stuff. Well, at least my picture suits where you're stuck at in Texas, you poor thing. That's horrible. That would be like if a whole bunch of snow got dropped in Florida, though. People just aren't used to it. Like you get used to hurricanes and the hot weather and everything, but if it was to snow down here, people would lose their mind. I don't know. I still want to go back up north though. I do, I do, I do. I'm still here, guys. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm back if anybody's in here. I had to let the pup inside. The dog, the dog. Am I doing that? Okay. Alrighty. That was another thing that's kind of a pain in the ass too when you're up north is trying to make your pet go outside. I know that my dog, I had my Chihuahua when I was up north, and he used to like, I don't know how he would do it, but he would put his butt outside and just pee real quick, like right on the door frame almost. While the front of his body was still inside, he wouldn't go outside in the snow for anything. You could not force that dog to go in the snow. I tried to get him little booties and everything. That shit was like $60. He'd just pull his feet right out of him. He would not wear them for shit. Hey,
Hey,
love.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect.
How
So
are
no, I'm not.
you?
I'm cold, man. I'm extremely cold.
Oh, that sucks. What did you do? Go down there? Or, well, I don't know how you would say it going from Hawaii, but you went there just to visit people?
Oh no, I live here now.
Oh, you moved?
I moved to
Oh,
Texas at the worst
no.
time ever, ever.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you got a big welcome, didn't you?
You're welcome. I literally it was crazy because I was the day I left Hawaii, it was 86 degrees, and that's normal December weather. That's pretty normal. Normally, I'm putting on a jacket around 80 degrees, 75 to 80 degrees because it's chilly to me. So
Oh
to move
yeah.
here and I got hit with 16, it was damn near debilitating. It was bad.
Yeah, when you're not used to it like that, that's
70-degree drop if you think of it that way. 70-degree drop from where I'm from my norm.
wow.
So you gotta imagine we didn't have coats or gloves or anything, hats, like for what? We didn't I haven't put on a real coat in 4 years.
Oh wow.
So then imagine this too. When we stepped outside of the airport, it was 20 something degrees. And that was it's really surreal when you think about just the small things, you know. And so I hadn't shivered in 4 years. It was the first time I had seen my breath in 4 years.
Oh wow.
It was really like this is crazy. My kids like went outside and they were like, oh no, nope, nope. They went back in the airport. Nope.
Oh wow. I can imagine too that after being away from it for so long and then you go back, you're
Yeah.
probably like, "Oh, I did not miss this shit. Now I
I
remember your teeth are
oh
chattering."
yes, yes. I literally shivered and it was such a foreign feeling. It's weird, you know, living in Hawaii and then moving back. Everybody says I moved back to the United States and I just laugh. But living in
Yeah.
Hawaii and then moving back here, I recognize how much of a bubble I lived in Hawaii. Like it was a huge bubble. It was, you know, the food is different, the culture is pretty much one sided. Everything is different. So I feel back here, I come back here and I'm like, the speed limits here are insane. Like, whoa, I can go above 50. This is like the speed limit high where I was at. I think it was like 50, 55. So to be able to do
Oh.
70, it feels like I'm like flying. I'm looking around for cops. Like, I know I'm going to get a ticket. Oh, I'm going to get a ticket. I'm going to get arrested for real.
Yeah,
So,
right. I know
yeah,
I had a friend that I met in when I was going to college and her dad I guess was in the military and they lived in Guam and they
yeah,
also lived in some part of Hawaii also, but she would show me pictures and I mean it was just beautiful and like you said how it was like a little bubble, like even the
it
vegetation
is.
looks different, like it's
You know what
very,
I
very.
always find funny though, you know, when I was going to Hawaii, I was under the impression that, you know, I'm gonna live around beaches and huts, you know, straw huts and
Yeah.
every day's a luau. And it's like, nope, nope, every day life is normal. You still go to work, go to school, your bills still come. What do you guys see like in the pictures and postcards and things like that? That is Hawaii. 9 times out of 10, it's not Oahu though. It's Kauai. Because that's more like,
Right.
or it's like the Kaneohe side of Oahu. That's really Hawaii. You know what you would think when you think of Hawaii. But on
Right.
my side, it was very urban. It was movers and shakers, and there was a lot of homeless, lot of
Oh
homeless. Like the
wow.
homeless population in Hawaii is astronomical. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Oh,
Um,
and I wonder if that's because it's always like warm down there, probably, huh?
yeah, it is. I mean, what better place to be homeless? You can put your tent right there on Waikiki Beach, and they're very home.
Right?
I mean, think about it, right? You can have beachfront property and not pay a dime. Um,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
um, they're very accommodating for the homeless population there.
Oh wow.
So they when it's time for them to do an event, if they need that area, they'll run them out about a week before they have the event, and then by the next week they're right back, like back home in essence. So
Oh wow. That's kind of
um,
crazy. I agree with you though,
yeah,
how you said that it's different from the postcards. I don't know why, but my mom admitted one day that she kind of thought that when we moved to Florida, it was going to be like bikinis and Baywatch,
oh,
right?
I thought that when I lived in Florida too. Yes, I did.
Yeah,
No, I
and then
did.
you get down here and just like you said, it's like, nope, you got to pay bills, you got to work, you barely see
Yeah,
anybody in a bikini, you're going to be driving by the water on your way to your job.
absolutely. So where I lived was actually quite unique. Every day on my way to work, I had to pass Pearl Harbor. So I saw the
Oh,
Arizona Memorial every single day, multiple times a day, because I had to pass. And so it was kind of cool. I had a really cool job when I had first got there just to have money because I love money. And so I got to work on the USS Missouri
Oh
when that
wow.
was treaty to end World War II. So I actually stood in a place where they sat to sign the treaty. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, where the initial attack happened, I actually had to drive by it every day. As a matter of fact, my house, the housing we lived in, it was in a crater.
What?
And they had told, yeah, and they told us that that crater was actually the damage years ago left from World War II. They just went over the land. They made sure it was leveled and the best they could, and then they built housing in that crater. So where I looked around my house, 180 degrees was mountain.
Wow, that
So
is
it was
crazy. Now,
really cool.
did you hear about that story like after you moved in or before?
After I moved in, of course. Now where living in the crater became an issue is about once sometimes twice a year our house would shift because the crater shifts and from what the military housing had told me, our house, well, our part of the street was almost dead center, like the epicenter of the crater. So we
Oh
always had
wow.
a lot of shifting. So just small things like my bedroom door wouldn't close, or the front
Oh
door would
yeah.
stick really bad, and they have to come out and they'd have to shave the door down or shave the door frame down, just for the door to be able to close. And that's when we were like, okay, so it shifted a little bit. It's my living in Hawaii was kind of a unique experience. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Well, right now, well, no, especially now, I'm down here in these 20-degree weather bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I go outside and I'm like, no, this is crap. This is garbage.
Yes. Oh wow, that is so neat though. I know that
Yeah.
Florida, like, and especially if you've been here, you know how they talk about like the sinkholes and stuff all the
Yes.
time. I
Yes.
was actually watching a show the other day, and oh, it still has me nervous because I can't remember what part, it was over by Sarasota somewhere, but
Okay. Okay.
apparently there was a guy, he was in his house with his daughter and he had his brother there, and the brother was, I guess, visiting, so he was in the daughter's room watching TV, and all of a
Okay.
sudden the dad and the daughter, I think she was like 14, they're in the kitchen, they hear like this big, like, just like,
Oh my God.
he explained it like almost an explosion, but it wasn't, like, just the whole house shook and like this big boom, and all of a sudden you could hear his brother like yell his name. So they ran into the room, and when they opened the door, he said it was just like everything was gone. Like there was a
Quit
big
playing.
hole in the room. Yes, there was a big hole in the room. The bed was gone. The TV cord was like still in the wall, but the TV was gone, and all of it was in this hole. And he
That's
said that he could
insane.
hear his brother like muffled, but calling him. So of course they called the police and get the police there and everything.
He
And
better not tell me
apparently
his
with
brother was in the ambulance.
yes,
Holy
oh
shit.
yeah. He said he jumped in, right? Because he said it was probably like 10 by 10. He jumped in and he was trying to dig, but I guess the dirt was so fine that every time he dug, it was just getting
It
deeper.
just
So
goes back. Oh
yeah,
my God.
so yeah, and I never knew, but I guess a sinkhole is where the water runs underneath the land.
Yes.
So
Yes.
when you do have a sinkhole, there's everything around it underground is weak, and you can't stand on it, and I guess that's why
That's
they get
damn near
bigger.
quicksand then.
Yes. So when the police got there, by then I think it was like 20 minutes. So they figured, I guess the guy, his yelling got weaker and weaker, of course. You're buried, under dirt.
Trying to make me
Yes.
have giving me chills.
And they tried to get him out, but the sinkhole kept getting bigger and bigger, and literally they never got the man out. Like, can you imagine laying in your bed watching TV and
Woo!
you just, yes,
Woo!
I mean, it
Woo!
gives me
Woo!
goosebumps.
That's freaky. That's
Yeah, they tore down the house, I guess, and just like, I don't know what they put over it. I don't know if they put anything over it, but yeah, they literally had to wait till the sinkhole got as big as it was going to get before they could even do any work to it, like filling it in.
so his
And
brother
it had
died,
eventually sucked the
buried
whole house
alive.
in. Yeah.
Only way freaky to pass to me is drowning. Like I can't. Well, I guess they're similar. One is a liquid and one is a solid. That's
Yeah.
oh man,
Yeah.
bro, that's crazy.
Yeah. That's like,
No,
have you
they
heard
have
like,
sinkholes in Hawaii. The most major, or the one that comes to mind the most is on a road actually, and cars were just driving, and the whole road gave out, and
oh my
cars went
God.
under. So not only are you buried under dirt, you're in your car. It's oh my god. Eh. I always
Uh,
side eye the Hawaiian roads. I'm not kidding. They're just ridiculous.
yeah. I know that when I was in the military, I worked on bridges and we would build bridges, but it's like I've never trust bridges. Like I'm so scared that like, you
Oh,
know, it'll
me either.
break and you're gonna like dive into the ocean. Like,
Yeah, nope, me either. There was a where I'm from. I ain't gonna say it here because you know full and well I'm trolled out of this world.
yes.
Um, I don't know why. I'm not a content creator, but apparently I make people nervous. So where I'm from, there was a bridge that fell, and then they redid the bridge, and they like I guess they had kind of you would probably know the word better than me, but like made it stronger,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's
like
just
reinforced it and did all
there you
that good
go.
stuff.
That's the word I was looking for. You're so smart. Yes, they have reinforced the bridge, but it fell again.
Oh
So
no.
yeah, no, I was like, there's no way. So when we had, I played sports my whole life. Soccer and track paid for my college degree. But
Oh wow, that's
yeah,
awesome.
but whenever we would have a game, a basketball game, a track meet, a soccer, a soccer game, and we had to go across that bridge, I promise you, I ask God to be my Lord and Savior every single time.
Oh my
Just in
gosh.
case I go, Jesus. I'll make
Exactly,
sure.
right?
Because I know
I,
anytime before I get on this bridge, I'm busting hell wide open. But before I get on this bridge, Jesus.
yeah, exactly, right? I know that there was
Very scary.
there's a bridge called the Mackinac Bridge in Michigan, and I guess they said that when they were building that, that I think it was like two or three guys. This is what I heard. I haven't Googled it, but
Uh-huh.
you know, like you hear it on down the line from family members and stuff. But I guess
Right,
like
right.
two or three people had like fell into those big pillars and all that stuff.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
and they couldn't get them out, so they just kind of poured concrete on top of them. So every time we would go
Quit
over
it.
that bridge,
Stop
yeah,
it.
I mean, yeah. So like every time we would go over that bridge, I would just like
Yo.
hold my breath because I'm just like, oh, there's people in there. Like it's so creepy.
Oh, dude, seriously. I'm
Yeah,
surprised Ghost Adventures hasn't done a show about that bridge being haunted yet. I swear.
good. Yeah, yeah. Good point. Good point.
That's crazy. That's crazy. They said, fuck it. This bridge is
Exactly.
on a
Yeah.
timeline. Fuck it.
Uh huh. That is like so creepy. That was like I'm pretty sure you've heard about it. I can't remember. It was somewhere over here where they made a bridge and it used to wobble when it was windy.
Yes. I've
Oh,
heard
they
about it. Never been on it. Never
yeah,
been on
well,
it.
no, I think it cracked and broke, and of course they redid it. This was back in I want to say like maybe the 50s or something
Hmm.
because they had a video of it and I actually saw it and I was like, "Oh, hell no." I mean, it was
Well,
like a piece of paper.
that's like the Huey P. Long Bridge. It's a floating bridge. I can't stand floating bridges. Those things scare the living shit out of me. Like, oh, the only
Really?
thing keeping me from this water is this piece of cement that's floating on the water. Floating bridges scare the shit. Well, there's that bridge also in Virginia. I don't know. Some people say it's not a real bridge. Some people say it is, but it goes underwater.
What?
I think it's Virginia. Let me Google.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it goes under. I want to say Virginia. Let me open the map book and
And
I'm
it's like
looking.
a bridge, it's not like a tunnel or anything like that.
Well, it's from what? Let me see. I know it starts out as a floating bridge. If I'm correct, underwater bridge.
See, I know that the floating bridges that we used to
No,
build
it's
in
in
the
Virginia.
military, they were kind of like, you've been on a pontoon boat before. You know the big
Absolutely.
silver, yeah, the big silver things that hold up the boat. That's kind of like what the float bridges are made out of, which they kind of are unsinkable, but where
Hmm.
you attach the pieces together, it would always like go underwater. So like if you were centered, you were okay, but then you would go halfway underwater and then go back up and
Yeah. No. Okay. So it's called the Chesapeake Bridge.
oh
It's in
wow.
Virginia. And from what I'm looking at the picture, from what it looks like, it's a normal bridge. It doesn't have all the extensions and everything. It's like built from the bottom of the water up, and for a short portion of it, right in the dead center, it goes underwater, and then it comes back out and continue on about your driving
That's
business.
creepy because you know how much pressure water has, you know?
Yeah,
And how often is somebody going down there and like tapping and checking how reinforced it is? You know what I mean? Like one day you're
I'm
just
telling
going to
you
be
right
going
now,
over
I
there and it's
wouldn't
like,
be doing it. They can miss me with that.
Yeah,
They can
no
miss me with
way.
that. I'm not doing it. Yeah, this
Well,
is
what?
what I gotta take it off. It looks insane. Yeah, it's
Ah!
called the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, and it's creeping me out, and I can't do it. Like, it's making my anxiety.
Yeah, you talking
You
about it.
do
I'm over here like gritting my
it. Me
teeth.
too.
I know
It
they've got
is
a
different.
bridge, a walk bridge, I think it is. Yeah, I don't think you
I
drive
won't.
over
I
it.
will never walk on a bridge. You could not give me enough money in the world to walk on a bridge. I'm
You
sorry, you
know what?
couldn't.
I don't think I've ever walked on a bridge. Well, besides the one we used to build, I don't think I ever really walked on a bridge.
I won't walk over the ones that are over the freeway. I won't walk. Listen, the ones over the freeway creep me out because it has the cage. So I'm going,
Yeah.
I know why this cage is here, so people don't jump off. I don't want to walk on the bridge because I feel if I walk on the bridge, I'm gonna want to jump off because I'm gonna feel feel crazy as hell, and I'm gonna feel
Yeah.
anxiety through the roof. Yeah, I
Well,
just won't. I won't walk on
did
the
you
bridge.
hear about in Scotland where there's this old bridge? Well, they call it a bridge, but it's not really a bridge. It's kind of like an overpass type of thing. But
Hmm.
underneath it is just like a little bit of water. It'll kind of remind you of like a ditch where there's a bunch of green and just a little bit of water, not enough to
Okay.
drown you or anything. But these people always walk their dogs around this area. And how about there's a sign and everything because it happens so often. These dogs will just run out of their owners, like yank from the leash in it, and jump off this bridge and try to kill themselves.
What?
I swear to God, even and it's so bad to where people have said their dogs, if they live, come back up and try to do it again. And I
Oh,
was
what in
like,
the
yes.
wrong turn is happening? What the? What the hell?
I was like, what in the world? And it was, there was actually a scientist that went there because everybody was trying to say it's some sort of a haunting or something that's making the dogs do that. Like they were even trying to say maybe it's ghosts of like squirrels or something that dogs have killed that were like,
What
what do
the
you
fuck?
enticing them to jump down there? Like, yeah, like everybody's tried to figure it out, right? So the scientist goes there.
Overtone Bridge. It's called the
Yeah,
Dog Suicide Bridge. What
see?
the hell? Holy
I
jeez.
told you. Now tell me
Yo,
that's
and it
not
looks like
wacky
a
as shit.
haunted castle too.
Yes.
Yo, they got a picture of a dog actually jumping off this bridge. Who did this?
Oh, that's
Who did this
horrible.
with their time? Who did this with their
That
time?
better be photoshopped.
What is the mystery of Overtone Bridge? I don't want to know what the mystery is. I'm gonna mind my business.
Right? The best thing that the
Mm-mm.
scientist guy came up with is he tried to think that maybe there's some sort of animals that are either mating down there or leaving some sort of scent that is overwhelming the dogs and the dogs are just like overwhelmed with some sort of I've got to get this animal and they hop off the bridge. But even he didn't believe his own like excuse because he was just like he, for real because he was like even if that is you know maybe a thing it still wouldn't make all these dogs like how did the one like jump off the bridge and then go back up and do it again like why wouldn't he just stay down there
Or it's a ghost with a dog whistle, and I'm gonna stick with that. That's what it sounds like to me.
that actually would be a good hypothesis yeah
Don't encourage my delinquency.
I'm not gonna lie though it hey nobody can figure it out and that makes more sense than what a lot of people have said
That's insane.
yes
Uh,
that's wild
I can't deal with these stories. You're driving me nuts. Overtown Bridge. I'm definitely gonna look into that one though.
you
Minus the
have
pictures, because these pictures are disturbing.
yeah, don't look at the pics. I think that I saw the one you're talking about. I think it was like on a thumbnail, but there's a lot of videos about it. There really is like from, people just going there and trying to do like ghost, things, but there is like I think oh, I can't there's like some big names that have went over there and tried to figure it out. Very, very strange, very strange.
See, again, I wonder if my ghost adventure guys have been there. Gotta Google that.
Yeah, you mean the really like the regular ghost adventure guys?
Yeah, my
I
regular
love
guys that come on the
them.
Adventure Channel.
I love them. Now,
I do too.
which one is the guy with the dark hair who you can tell he goes to the gym and now he wears glasses from what I'm going to talk about, but he's like real built and you can tell he's really cocky and he kind of like bosses
Oh, he's
people
a
around.
douche. No.
Yeah,
Cocky? No, you're being
he-
cute. He's a
yeah,
douche. He's a massive douche. And when he got his new haircut, I was like, God, he's looked so douchey with the
yes,
spikes and the yeah.
yes,
Oh God, I can't. Let me look. I
he
can't
drives
remember
me
his
up
name.
a wall, that guy.
Well, he has a house, and I can't remember which serial killer's house he bought. Oh no, it was my idol, Marilyn Monroe. He actually bought her house, and then he bought another serial killer's house, and he turned it into a ghost museum.
Really?
Yes, he did, because he's the creepy type that would love to be in a house with freaking what's that stupid doll?
Oh
Uh,
yeah. What? It's not
Annabelle.
Anne. Yeah. Yep. Annabelle.
He's the idiot that would love to be Zach Baggins. That's his name. Just came to me.
Oh, yep.
Zach.
Yep.
Zach is
Yeah.
a douche. He looks douchey to me,
He
and then he
does.
cries like it's too much dusk. I gotta go get a whole oxygen for scuba diving. He's such a
Yes.
baby.
He is. I can't remember the house that he went to, or where it was at, but I don't even remember. I think the title had caught me to where it clicked on him because I can't stand that guy.
Yeah,
But he ended up getting this house and it was like known for being super haunted and everything. And he was
yeah.
like, well, I'm gonna stay the night in here by myself, and you can, where they bolt up the door and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And his tooly ass is in there, like, what do you call it? Trying to call out the demons and,
God,
oh, if
I
you're gonna
hate
do
when they do
something for
that
me,
baiting the
yes.
demons thing.
Yes. Well, apparently it whooped his ass because all of a sudden you saw him like jump up and he runs off the camera and he's at the door and he's like, let me out, get me out of here. He
I
tore
remember that
down the house
episode,
and
and I
everything.
know which
Yes.
one you're talking about, and I can't think of it. Yeah, he cried like a baby back bitch. It's ridiculous. My
He
thing is,
tried
you
to
know
say
what
that
the hell
to
you're
his
dealing with.
glasses. He said the
Why?
demon like did something to his eyeballs and like he has glasses now.
I can't. He deserves everything he gets.
Yeah,
What
he's
kills me is when he tells the other guys, like, you go in there, I'm gonna stay in the nerve center. Wait a
yes,
minute, this is your show, punk. Why
yes,
you go in there? What is wrong with you?
yes, he does that a lot.
He's aggravating. He's so aggravating. I can't, like, I watch it just so I can watch his reaction and laugh. I don't know if that makes me cruel, heartless, emotionless, sadistic, one of them or all the above, but I literally just watch to get him tortured. I
Yeah,
do.
no, that makes you normal because like you said, he's a tool.
Well, it's funny because I have I think I surprised everybody on my IG the other day because I have this huge affinity for serial killers.
Oh, cool.
I do. I study them. I not because I want to. I'm not because I want to do it. It's more or less, why did you do that? How does your mind work, kind of
Right.
thing. So I do. So a lot of the places they go, I'm like, yeah, I already know about that one. Nope, you didn't tell that fact correctly. Like, I'm that
Yeah.
person. Like, that's not how she was killed. You're lying. I'm that.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
that person.
That's
So
good though, because there's too many people. Oh boy, and I know you've seen it on here, but there's too many people that just like believe what they're told and run with it.
right, right. I can't, like, who was I talking to? Maybe it was Gip. Not to bring him up on your channel, but I think
Oh
it
no,
was
that's
him.
fine. I don't know anything about him really.
Oh, that's who I'm with. But
Oh, okay.
but I'm actually supposed to be flying out to see him tomorrow if
Oh
Houston
wow.
gets their life together. It's not the first time we've seen each other though.
Oh.
But I was watching something. I'm busy. What do you want? Yes, Jonathan. I was watching something, and Night Stalker. It's a series about the guy who was doing a bunch of serial killing in Los Angeles some years ago in the 80s and
The
early
Ramirez
90s.
guy?
Yes, I
Okay.
think so.
Yep.
Yes. So I'm watching that and I'm aggravated because I'm like, no, that is not how that happened. And I told Gip, I said, dude, I can't watch this because it's historically not factual, and
Right.
it bothers my soul to try to watch stuff
Yes.
like that. So, but you have to, like, if you don't know anything about the case, you should actually watch that documentary. It's actually really good. And it parallels another story of a hotel that everyone said was haunted. And pretty much everybody who stayed on the specific floor of this hotel, they killed themselves.
The Cecil one?
Yes. So
Okay,
what
yeah.
that one, the Cecil Hotel, parallels the Night Stalker story because the Night Stalker actually stayed in the Cecil
Yes.
Hotel.
Yep, he did. Yep.
So that part of it they got right. That's about
Well,
that's
that's
about it.
good. I gotta ask you, since you know all that info,
Yeah.
what about the girl? And I feel like a douche right now because I can't think of her name, and it's been splattered all over. The one that they found in the water tank in the Cecil.
That's the one. Yes.
Okay. What are your thoughts on that? How in the world do you think she got placed in there when nobody
She
could
was
open it?
killed.
You think so?
I think she was absolutely. I'm telling you, I look at this stuff enough to know somebody dumped her body there. There's no way possible.
Yeah, because they were like, oh well, she was naked and she was at the bottom, and her,
She was.
you know,
I guarantee you, she was sexually assaulted, killed, and dumped there.
yeah,
Well, she could have been killed and sexually assaulted. People in the world nowadays are absolutely disgusting that way.
yeah,
But I think she was dumped there, unless she was in such a fragile and distraught mental state. But just statistically, you don't see a lot of people committing suicide by drowning.
no, not at all. And also, they were saying that the only person that could even open up the hatch to those tanks was like the mechanic guy or something like that for the
Yeah,
hotel. Yeah, like
they
he was
had
the
to have
only
a
one that,
key. It was
yeah,
locked.
and it was really heavy,
Yeah.
and yeah, like
So
it's
you're gonna what? She somehow picked the lock, removed this lid, stepped in there, put the lid back on, relocked
exactly.
it, and then drowned herself. That just
Yep.
logically makes no
Yep.
sense. No,
But I
I
don't
fully believe she was
understand.
killed.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking, but I don't understand the autopsy though, because the autopsy's like, oh, nothing was wrong with her.
Well, there was a girl out here, just to show you how kind of flawed autopsies there's not, excuse me, not out here. But there was a girl, she was a huge I'm sure you probably have heard about it, a huge social media influencer. And her and her husband, they had been married for a year and a half. They had got into a really bad argument, and she left, quote unquote, she left. And then they found her. I can't remember if it was a couple days later. It might have been a couple days to a week later, completely naked, dead on the side of the road. And they said, well,
Mhm.
nothing was wrong with her. She didn't have any puncture wounds, no ligature marks. She had nothing. She did her toxicology came back okay. And I said, okay, so she just walked out there, got completely undressed. They never found her clothes and held her breath till she
Right,
died.
exactly.
So I don't take, I take toxicologies with a grain of salt until you show me two. I do at least three and two of a match.
Yes, yes. Like there have been some husbands and wives that I've watched the cases of that they've been convicted of poisoning, and there's almost so many cases that I've seen to where they find a trace, a very minuscule, but a
Mm-hmm.
little trace of like like cyanide or something weird like
Yeah,
that, where they're like, oh, you're guilty, you killed him, but it's so minuscule, and it's almost like, because another scientist has said when we die our bodies ferment and they make all these
they
weird
absolutely do.
yes,
Bunch of
and
weird gases, and all kinds of stuff.
yes, and they had dug up a couple different bodies to do exhumations on and retest them and everything, and they had found traces of like cyanide in these people when they didn't die from that. So it
And
makes me,
that's why I'm not for exhuming bodies once they're already been
yeah,
pumped with so much for a funeral. You got to think
yeah,
about that.
yeah,
They're pumping that body with so many different um, poisons
chemicals, and
just to
yeah,
make them look normal. And then after that, the bodies start to basically eat itself. And now you're going to exhume the body and go, yep, there it is, cyanide. Well, you pumped it full of formaldehyde. You're not going to talk about that
right,
too. Like, we're not,
exactly,
so I'm definitely feel like when they start exhuming bodies, unless again you have an independent source and a state source, and they come up with the same thing or are really similar. I
right,
don't believe that either. I really
right.
don't. There was a lady. She used to be, well, she's his. They say she's the first serial killer, but she's just the one on record. And what she would do was she had a excuse me, she had a quote unquote beauty product, and she put cyanide in it, and it was something flora, and I can't remember what it was, but basically it was something flower. And so the women were buying it like in astronomical numbers, and in her time the amount that she made was equivalent to our dollar amount now of like 25 million. And
Oh
this was back in the
wow.
1800s. Like, she was stupid rich. And so she put cyanide in it. Well, the women were buying it in astronomical numbers, and
Uh-oh.
it was sweet to the taste, but it was apparently a quote unquote skin cream, skin ointment. But
Okay.
what the women were doing was they were buying it and putting it drop by drop in their husband's food, in their soups. Soup
Ah!
was a big thing at that time, in that era. Soup was the big thing, and so they were putting it in their soups, or they were putting it in their drinks, and it went on for years and years. I want to say it was like 10 to 12 years, and she had
Wow.
never been found, and husbands were dying left and right. But because science hadn't advanced just yet to that point, these deaths and murders is what they were going undetected. And then
Wow.
so finally she was caught because a woman had started the dosing, did the first initial dosing to kill her husband. And she said, she basically was like, yo, this dude gotta go. And so she started it. But her morals kicked in. And
Oh
as he got ready
no.
to eat the soup, she says, no, 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 don't eat it, don't eat it. And
Oh
he's like, why?
no.
And she's like, don't eat it, don't eat it. And so I guess the way that he tells it is that he knew that she was up to something, like she was up to no good. And so he beat the living snot out of his wife because she was
Oh
trying to
God.
kill him. Duh. I would too.
Right.
And he took the ointment. She admitted to the husband and blew open this woman's whole operation because he took the ointment
Wow.
to the police. And by this time, cyanide was able to be detected, and they detected the cyanide. And so they said that the woman, from the numbers that they say, she's actually has the highest, what they say, the highest body count into the thousands,
Wow. I
because
can
these women were
imagine
using
all those years.
all those years. And you have women were buying the product under the guise of, oh, it's a beauty product. But they knew
Wow.
that it had cyanide in it. And the
Wow.
woman who created it knew that she was putting cyanide in it and
That's
what cyanide
crazy.
was doing. And she benefited off of this. So it ended up, long story short, it ended up, the police, it got out that the police were looking for her. She ran, the creator of this beauty product. She ran and hid in a church.
Oh.
And they showed up for her at this church, and the church was like, wait, you're this person? And they were like, you can have her. They gave her up. They were like, you can't stay in this house. You just
Right.
Lord's house. You got to go. So they arrested her, and they literally tortured and beat this woman until she told the truth. And then they killed her by firing squad.
Oh, okay. That
But
is crazy.
yeah, I have plenty of those stories. I'm telling you, I have plenty of those stories.
Did you ever hear about the woman? She wasn't a serial killer or anything, but it was an older woman. And I
Mhm.
want to say this was back in like the 70s, but she ended up, I guess, like, she had been with her husband for like 40 some years, but I guess he really like pissed her off and she was over it. So apparently she hit him over the head with like a leg of lamb that was frozen and she killed him,
Damn.
right? Yeah, she ends up getting rid of the body. I can't remember exactly what she did with it, but she ended up getting rid of the body, and the police come to, interview her and find out, what's going on. We can't find him because she reported him missing, I think. And
Hmm.
believe it or not, here's the kicker. She was cooking the lamb, right? And she fed it to the cops when they were there.
Quit play.
Yep. True
So
story.
they ate the weapon.
Yep, they ate the evidence. Yep.
Oh my, oh my God. Wait, wait.
Yep. I learned about that in one of my criminal justice classes. Yes, they did. Yep, sure did.
And in my criminal justice class, well, my first one, my professor said, if you ever want to get out of getting a ticket, he said, for girls, you guys know what you can do. He didn't say it. And then he said, for guys, just give us a bag of Skittles. That was my first day of my
A
criminal
bag of Skittles. I know
that
that
was
my
the first day of my criminal justice class.
nice.
That's what I
I
learned.
know that my dad, I have a funny story to go with that. My dad was a state police officer in Michigan for like 32 years, and he told me, I can't remember how this came out one day, but he was saying that sometimes when he would pull, girls over that, they'll try to either talk their way out of a ticket or they'll try to
Hmm.
flirt or something like that. And he said there's only been one time that somebody got me. And I was like, well, what happened? And he was like, well, I pull the car over and everything, and it's, I can tell the lady's blonde and she's got this big hair and she's in a convertible. And he's like, and I'm, I get my hat, put it on, get outside the car, walk over to her car. He's like, and I look down and all I see is boobs. He was like, this woman had the biggest boobs I've ever seen in my life. He was like, I didn't see, he said, I couldn't remember why I pulled her over. He was like, I literally looked at her, smiled, told her to have a good day, and went back to my car.
Listen, and the funny thing is, if that happened nowadays, they'd be filing reports and trying to sue and
Yes.
sexual
Yep.
harassment and oh my gosh.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
I
okay. I just looked it up. Her name was Mary Maloney.
Ah!
That was her name, that with the leg of lamb. And
See?
she killed him because he came home early and she tried to give him a kiss and he pushed her away and told her, don't bother, told her that she was old and fat and ugly and I don't love you anymore. So she busted him upside the head with that leg of lamb.
Oh wow. So he didn't, dang. I thought it was
Oh, and he told her, I want a divorce. I've met
oh,
someone
yep,
else.
there's the
She's
kicker.
20 years old, thin and beautiful. I love her and she loves me. That's all there is to it. I'm leaving you tonight. Oh, well, that sounds like emotional distress to me. She should have got off.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, don't even go there. There are so many cases where like, okay, there I being a woman, it sucks, like, right? Because you've got a lot of women out there that like they try to get over on certain things like the,
Yes.
what do you call it? Domestic violence thing, and while you're really, getting the shit. I've always said like if a man is with a girl, and I could be wrong, but if a man is with a girl and they're fighting or arguing just verbally, and the girl's like, "Go ahead and hit me. Go ahead. I want you to. Go ahead." I'm like, she needs to get her ass whipped for real by a dude, and she would never act like that because once you've had your ass kicked by a man like for no reason, like you don't do that shit
For
like
no reason.
for real.
Well,
Like
I'll tell you, growing up, I was raised, if a woman is talking like that, whatever, whatever. But my dad always taught me, don't ever put your hands on a man because if you ball up your hands and you
Yep.
punch a man in the face, he was like, then whatever you get back, you get back. So brace yourself. You want to
Yeah.
hit him like you're a man, then you get hit like one too.
Yep. Like I've seen
So
where people go to hit, like a guy will go to hit a girl, but then realize, oh shit, it's a girl. Like, like if the girl like pushes him or,
mhm.
stuff like that, where the first reaction is to fight and then they'll stop themselves. Like I've seen that in the clubs before. Like it's,
Well, what happens is you have a lot of girls who abuse that though, and I think that's what it is. I
yeah,
think because society teaches men to keep their hands to themselves, I
yep,
think what happens is you do have a certain sect of women that knows that man isn't going to hit them, or for the most part, men are not going. Now you do have those men that are just like, man, F that, I'm gonna hit your ass, like don't test me.
right,
But for the most part, men are not. They're just gonna be like, all right, girl, go ahead, leave. All right, listen, go away, or they'll try to walk
right,
away. So I think what when it comes to things like that is women abuse that fact that they know that they're not gonna get hit. And
yeah.
one day they're gonna come across the right man that's just a little touched up top, and he gonna bust her in her mouth. And you're right, she won't say it again because you never know who you're dealing with.
I'm saying, especially nowadays, I love how you said touched up top. I swear I'm going to start saying that about my ex. That is hilarious.
Just a little touch. Yeah, so I don't, I'm not an advocate for that, but it was just how I was raised, that I don't test anyone. I don't walk
No,
myself to an
no.
ass whooping that I can't walk away from. I don't drive to one either. And I definitely don't taunt a man because you never know. You never know where a person is. Forget gender. You never
Yeah,
know where they are in life. You don't know what they've been going through that day, that week, that month, that year.
yep.
You don't know if what you're doing is going to be the breaking point. So I don't mess with people, period, unless they come for me. Roy,
Right.
I don't mess with people, period. I don't.
You want to hear something super creepy? I used to work at a bank, and one day there was, let me see, one, two, three, four. There were 5 tellers on the inside, and then we
Okay.
would have 2 to 3 people in the drive-through, and there was like a wall in between us, right? Well, we were really busy. Like you'd wait on like 250 to 300 people a day. This was in Fort
That's
Myers,
crazy.
and yeah, right. And I happened to be on the inside that day. The girl next to me, who I was really close with, there was a guy that stepped up to her station, right? And you could tell that, well, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, you really couldn't tell. We kind of thought that like maybe he was either doing construction or I don't really know. That's kind of what we thought because he had like dirt on him and he was
Okay.
really sweaty and he was a Haitian guy, so he's really sweaty, really
Okay.
dirty.
Okay.
And that's about it, right? But you were like, ew, like, are you here on your lunch break type of thing? Like, you know, when,
Yeah.
oh my God, people would give you money out of the weirdest places and it'd be all sweaty. And okay, so anyway, so the guy, he wanted like to take out all the money out of, he had a joint account with his wife. They had like
Okay.
$15,000 in there and he wanted to take all of it out right then, that minute. Now, at the bank, if you want anything without prior notice right away that's over like 10,000 or 9,000, you have to fill out the tax form for it. And
Right.
you have to let us know so we can have the truck come and deliver the money because, you know, they really don't keep like all that money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're telling the guy this, right? We were like, we can give you like 6 grand right now, but you got to come back for the other. He's thrown a fit. I mean, he's in there just, it's echoing like he's blowing a shit fit. So he ends up taking the sticks and leaving. Well, the bank I worked at was a credit union. So we would have all the police officers, all the highway patrol, all the teachers, like all the government people that worked would come in.
Right.
No lie. Like the next morning, a highway patrol guy came in and he was like, oh, hey, we got to ask you guys, did you have so-and-so come in here the other day? And we were like, yeah. And we were like, oh, hold on, we'll check. And I was like, oh my God, that's the picture of the guy that you waited on, right? And she was like, oh shit, it is. He had murdered his wife.
Shit.
No lie, buried her in the backyard, and then was trying to get the money to go back to Haiti before he got caught.
Wait. So he was dirty from,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
like
why he was
apparently
dirty and sweaty. He had been digging holes.
Yes. Yep. I was like, oh God.
Oh, I'd have literally like threw up all over wherever I was.
Yeah, it was wild. It was
That
wild.
is wild. Okay, I
Yeah.
got one for you. Do you remember the DC sniper?
Yeah.
Who doesn't? Cool. All right. So he was in Washington, D.C. or in the D.C. DMV area. Cool. So one day we go home, and there's like cops everywhere, police, state patrol. I want to say the sheriff was there. It was news trucks, helicopters, and they're like all focusing on this one house. So we had the news people. I was a kid and I was a teenager, and they see us getting out of the car and they rush up to us and, how long have you guys lived here? Da, 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 da. And my mom was like, we just moved in like maybe 6 months before that. And they were like, oh, okay. So my dad goes, well, what are y'all doing? Turns out that one of the houses that he lived in and did target practices was 2 doors down from my parents'
No. Oh my goodness.
They had just found it out. They were removing a tree, I believe. Removing a tree because that was the tree that he had done target practice on with the teenager.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I'm just sitting there and I told my mom, I was like, so I'm moving.
Yeah, exactly.
And she was like,
right?
he ain't here no more. I'm like, so I don't care. It was too close.
Exactly. It's a little bit unnerving, Mom.
I mean, it doesn't beat your giving a murderer, $6,000 story.
Yeah, right.
The murderer, $6,000 covered in his wife, probably bodily fluid plus his.
Oh my God. Oh, that was another thing. Oh my God. See how he smelled like okay. I don't want to say because I've like smelled death, but it wasn't really like a pungent death smell, but it was like body odor / something wasn't right type of smell.
Like something wasn't right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that from now on. You smell like the outdoors and something ain't right.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So the smell of a body, that is unmistakable.
Yes.
One part of my what was it? Advanced anatomy and physiology class, we actually went to the body farm.
Oh, did you?
Yes, and it was
wow.
It was really interesting. The smell, however. Ugh.
I wondered about that. Yeah, when I've seen specials on it. And now he has like an actual, like a lot of land, right?
Like acres.
Okay, because I was wondering, I'm like, if the wind blows, and you smell, like, I'm like,
well, imagine if you live next to a manure plant or bark, what is it, like a beauty bark plant, you smell it.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it was pungent. So I know if the wind kicks up, they could smell that for miles. It was cool though to see different stages of decomposition. It was just like, okay, that looks gross, but it's cool at the same time.
Right.
There were a lot of people who couldn't look, like they would turn away. And here go my sadistic ass. You better look because we're getting a test on this, right?
Exactly right.
You might want to
You might
look.
not
We're not
want it
here for
burned
no
into your
reason.
memory, but you need it.
Right. You might want to literally let this burn in your memory because we're not just here for fun. This is not a
Yep,
field trip. We're in college. This isn't a field trip. Like you might
exactly.
want to pay attention.
That's cool. I haven't met anybody else, especially on here, that even was interested in it. Like, I think it was Average Joe that was asking me, like, well, what do you think you're going to do on your channel? And I said, well, I've got all these ideas. I was like, but I do want to do, like, crime stories and stuff because nobody
Yeah.
does it on here. Like, and I want to get people in this sector to kind of think outside of the, hey, I hate this person
Yes.
shit, you know?
That's awesome.
Well,
That's awesome. There's a few. Mysterious by Nature. I think she's
no, wait
taken
a
a
minute. I
hiatus.
think I've seen her in a chat.
Yeah, so I think she's taken a bit of a hiatus, but she's absolutely into it. She did a live on her channel, and she started talking about this YouTuber. Her name is Bailey Sarian.
Oh, I
Um,
know her. I watch
yes,
her. I
I
love
love
her.
her. I love her
Yes,
and her
I think
intro song. That
she's hilarious. Yeah. And it's so funny how, like,
like
she
I love
talks.
Bailey.
Yeah, 'cause she tells the story like she's talking about a friend or something when she's like, yeah,
No,
and then
I
he
love
goes
when she
there and
argues with herself. She goes, "That can't happen, Bailey." Oh, excuse me for not knowing that.
yes.
Like I love when she argues with herself. It is the funniest thing ever. Like when Mysterious had said it, and I said, "Oh," I was like, "There's a YouTuber I watch," and I said the name, and she did the intro, and I was like, "Oh yeah, she definitely watches Bailey because you have to watch Bailey to know that she does her own personal intro."
Yes.
But and then I love when she laughs and she goes, "Okay, wait, that's not funny." But it's always at the absolute worst times. Like he chopped her up 75 times and made her in a stew. And then she'll giggle and go, "That's not funny."
Yes. Yes.
I love her. I was super excited. I'm not into makeup. I don't wear makeup, but I have this weird affinity for owning it. I
Oh
don't
my
know.
God, are you serious? Because that's me too. I think like if I was to go out to the club tonight or something, I'd probably put on a light shade of lipstick, maybe some what do you call it? Mascara,
Mascara.
and that would be
Yep.
it.
I'd be a mascara and I have my little egg, my EOS egg of chapstick, and
Yes.
that'd be about it.
Yep.
And even then, I would feel weird wearing it because I wear glasses. And so when I put mascara on, like my eyelashes touch my
Oh, they'll hit
glasses.
your
So
glasses.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's aggravating, but I think that's about it. However, my bathroom looks like Ulta, and it's just the weirdest thing in the world.
Well, my friend that I was telling you that waited on the wife
Mhm.
killer, not Peter, but she used to always tell me, she's like, you've got some sort of a draw towards cute packaging or something because like
I think that's what it is for me too.
yeah, like my whole room looks like a Bath and Body Works store, or like you said, like an Ulta. Like I've got all this
It
makeup
does.
stuff, and
Like
it's
I think it's a mixture of the cute packaging and my ego. And so why I say my ego is because I'll see a bunch of girls, "Has anybody seen this palette? Oh my God, I want to own this." And I'm like, "I got it."
yeah,
I don't,
that's a big
I'm not going to
thing.
tell them it's literally never been touched and it's just sitting there. But that Urban Decay palette, what was it? They had a nudes one, they had a smoky eye one, but it was the one that everybody was wanting, and I can't think of it now. And I'm not going to go look at it. I have that one. I have all one,
Oh
two,
wow,
three,
that's like the
and
Jeffree Star ones that everybody was going crazy over. Like,
I got the Crayola color box one too.
do you?
I do. Never touched it.
You know
But it
what
was
though? At the
yellow.
same
It's
time,
yellow. It's bright. It's pretty. And
yes, it's cool looking. Yeah, like
yeah,
and you can set it out and kind of look at it.
yeah, that's me. I don't wear it. So the
Yeah.
reason why I brought the makeup thing up was because I have an Etsy subscription. I don't use any of it, but I love the bags it comes in and they're cute products. And so fine. So one of them I got, I want to say it was like 2 months ago,
Uh-huh.
maybe three subscriptions ago, but it was Bailey's
Oh,
eyeshadow palette.
really?
Yes. And I looked down and I was like, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." I was like, "I'm never gonna open it. I've got to meet her so she can sign it." Like I refused to touch it. But she partnered up with, I can't remember who it was. And yeah, she has a makeup palette and the colors in there look like her. Bright,
Oh, cool.
bold, like the pigments are just
Yeah.
colorful, but I was super excited. Like, oh my God, this mixes my nonsensical love for makeup and Bailey. Like, it gets no better. Like, this is this is the
That's
best.
awesome. I really like too how like she does, like you said, the really different colors. Like she'll put on the black lipstick and
Yes.
she makes it like she wears it to where like you could actually wear it out. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't do it like to where it stands out so much to where, it would look odd. Like she'll blend
Yeah,
like
if you think of her
natural with
range of the like her range of looks she's able to do, it is quite
yes.
impressive. Like she did one, I just watched it. I know it was an older video, but I just rewatched it, and it was when she was did the Alice in Wonderland, and her
Yes.
face looked like it had literally nothing on it, but she had been doing makeup for at least 20, 30 minutes, and that
Yes.
was after her edits, and it looked like she had nothing on it. But then you contrast that to her Halloween look, which was like, whoa, was there any makeup left
Yeah.
in
Yep.
the store? Like, so her range to me is amazing. And then for her to be, doing the crime talk I love the fact that she doesn't do big name cases. You're not going to hear the Ted Bundys, and you're not going
Yes.
to hear the B2K killer,
Yep.
B2K, Jesus
The
Christ,
ones that have
BTK.
been beat into your head over and over
Right,
again.
that
You're just like, oh.
so much. I love, that she does. Well, lately she did do Casey Anthony
Yep, she
and
did.
what's her name? Jodi Arias. I think those were
Yep.
her two of her most recent ones. I was actually quite surprised. Like,
Yeah,
whoa,
I
why
was
are
too.
you? But I love hearing her little snippy snide.
Yes. Yep. I didn't
I
watch
love it.
the
She's just so like her shady comments, and I'm like, yes,
yes.
get him, Bailey, get her, Bailey.
And you want to know what's crazy too is to go like how we've seen how people around here act, but you
Yeah.
know how petty girls are even on her. Like I was reading comments one day on the one where she did this really
Yes, yes,
glittery
I know which one you're
green
talking about.
eye. Yeah, and she did that. And somebody had left the comment and they were just like, "Oh, can't you tell that one of her eyes is like a little bit lower than the other one?" I'm like, "What the hell? No, it's not." Like, what the like?
No, what killed me was I can no longer look at her eyebrows the same.
Ah!
But somebody had commented and said, as a kid, how you draw your stick figure birds is just the M.
Oh
And
yeah.
somebody said her eyebrows look like the wings of the stick figure.
Oh no.
So
Now I'm gonna
now
look
that I
at
told you
that.
that, when you watch one of her videos, look at her eyebrows, you're gonna be like, God damn it, see how
I know, yeah, just yep. I already
it
know. I was
does.
like, now I'm
It
gonna look
looks
at
like
it.
the
Yep.
stick figure wing, like the wings of the stick figure bird. It is the most hilarious thing. And I'm sitting here feeling stupid, like, but I liked her eyebrows though.
Right. One thing I've always wondered, and I don't know how you do your eyebrows, but I don't wear a bunch of makeup just like you had said you don't, so I don't draw on my eyebrows, but I've always wondered why some people, and I don't think Bailey does it. I think she just adds on to hers. But
She
when
fills
chicks
in
will, yeah, when chicks will like literally shave their eyebrows off and like
crazy and
draw
draw a
them
whole
in.
new one.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like it's every day, like okay, say you jump up in the morning and you gotta like, I don't know, run a kid to school or do something like and you don't have
Mhm.
time to like put them on, like what do you
Right.
do? Like
Oh no,
my
they no, I have quite a few friends of mine. One of them, perfect example, she is pretty high ranking in the army.
uh-huh.
She has well 6 kids now.
Oh wow.
And so you got to imagine none of them were over the age of 10. She
Ah,
had 5 at the time, and I want to say they were 10, 9, 9 because she had stepkids. So 10, 9, 9, 10, 9, 9, 7, and 1.
God bless her.
2. He was 2. So
Oh,
she would make time to get up in the morning, and she didn't do makeup either at all. She actually couldn't. She had went to do I think she went to do Tarte, and Tarte is a vegan makeup
yeah.
company, and it burned her skin.
Oh
That's
wow.
how much she cannot wear makeup. And so she gets up in the morning and she would make sure she had time to put on her eyebrows. It wasn't that she cut them, she just didn't grow them. Her hair was thick and long and insane, but her
Oh
eyebrows
wow.
were like, oh, we're all on your head. Like, we don't want to be on your face. You know what I mean? Type thing. She didn't have,
Yeah.
but she made sure she gave herself 45 minutes additional every morning to do her eyebrows. And then she ended up getting smart, and then she got a microbladed, and she says, now I get to sleep in
Oh, wow. I was just thinking I'm like 45 minutes to do eyebrows. That's so long. Like,
That's insane. And it was literally a brow that she started out with a stencil. She started out doing her eyebrows with a stencil until it became muscle memory, and then she just did it, and they looked immaculate. It didn't look like these girls that make them really thick, and then on the
oh God, yeah,
inside
where
of
they
it,
look
it
like
looks
they were
faded.
scared or somebody shocked them or something.
Yeah, like,
On
oh
the
no,
forehead, yeah.
it was her natural brow. It looked like a natural brow because all she did was basically follow her own personal brow line because she didn't have any eyebrows, poor baby. But she did. She gave herself 30 to 45 minutes extra every morning.
Wow.
I don't think I think let me take that back. I had seen her without eyebrows one time and I was like, oh, you look creepy. Don't ever come out of the house again without brows on. Like, and what she used, I should, now that I think about it, I need to ask her because there's a lot of girls who need it. These products that she used, she would go swimming. I mean, we're in Hawaii, so we go to the beach all the time.
Right.
And her eyebrows never came off, never budged. She could sweat and rub her forehead and her brows never
Oh,
budged.
wow.
I don't know
Well,
what kind of
that's good.
industrial products she was using.
Yeah, that's amazing. Good for
There may
her.
have
I
been some cyanide in her brow powder shit, maybe. Just to bring this conversation full circle, damn it.
exactly. I know that my ex's, my stepkids that I had, well, not like had with him, but his kids that were my stepkids, one of the boys' mom, she would draw her eyebrows on, right? And they would always make jokes like the older they got. One of them one day was like, "Oh yeah, did you see mom the other day? Because when she got up, like she looked weird, and I asked her like, what's different?" And like he was like, her eyebrows weren't on.
Oh no.
And I was like, no. So then, me, like, I'm kind of like, I guess, like you, where you have to, investigate. So I was like, wait a minute. I was like, and this is like a baby mom. So of course I'm going to dig, right? So I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute. I was like, so she came out with no eyebrows. I was like, were they on the pillowcase? Like, what happened?
Where'd
Like,
she leave them?
yes, exactly. Cause,
Well, have you seen they have them on Wish where you can get the eyebrows that just stick on like a sticker?
stop it.
Swear to God. They're like a sticker.
Like a plastic, well, like a fake mustache.
It's basically eyebrow weave.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't
Dead
know how I
serious. And
feel
it's
about
made out
that.
of mink. They're mink.
Those poor
Yeah.
little minks.
Poor little minks didn't deserve that.
Yeah.
And you can buy them in different arch shapes and different variations of length and thickness. And yeah, it's eyebrow weave.
Oh, God, somebody's gonna do like the Gorilla Glue chick and try to glue on their eyebrows.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh God.
Yeah,
Jeez.
that's a whole hot ass mess. She knew
That's
better.
a whole
That's all I
mess.
gotta say. There's
Listen,
no
so
way.
here's the thing. When I first saw her, I said, she looks like a young kid. Like she looks dumb. She's just making a dumb kid move, right? When you're
Yeah.
younger, everybody makes dumb moves, especially teens, early 20s. You're dumb. When I found out that woman was in her 40s, I about threw my phone across the house. Like, are you fucking serious? You are
Yes.
halfway. You are over. You're 10 years. Let's be more correct. You are about 10, 15 years from AARP, and you didn't know that you don't put
Okay.
Gorilla
And
Glue.
all the pictures that they show to her, she's got all these different styles. Even if she goes to somebody to get her hair done, she knows better. You got the glue spray in your house, so like, and the whole thing.
Thank you.
She knew better. That's all I gotta say. And here's the thing.
Somebody said, well, maybe she mistaked it for gorilla snot. I said,
No,
bull fucking shit.
no.
On the front, it says wood, plastics. It does not say hair follicles.
Well,
I'm
and I
not
don't know
buying
if
that
you've
shit.
used it before, but it doesn't smell like any kind of fucking hair product either. Excuse me, but
No,
like,
it's like a strong,
yes,
because for the most part, when you're using hair products, there's some form of a nice scent to them.
yes,
Even the got to be glue, even that
yes,
has like a scent to it that you would know, no, I'm not going to put this on my couch when my kids jump and it breaks down the middle, but I don't have money to buy a new couch.
right.
Like you don't, and I'm not saying that from experience to anyone who's listening. Don't even try it. My kids know better. My kids are old enough to know better. But no, it smells industrial. Like
Yes,
Gorilla Glue has a strong, pungent industrial smell.
yes,
And so there's no way you can convince me that this 40-plus-year-old woman looked at this thing that says what it's for and said, this is okay to put on my hair.
Well, and okay, she had a slick down style, a common style, right? We all know as females, if you put gel in your hair, if you put hairspray, even you're gonna kind of take your hand and like smooth it down, to get the little flyaways or whatever.
Right, right.
Her hand would have been sticky.
Here's another thing. Even if you put like the got to be glue, they have levels of hold, right?
Right.
Even if you use a product that is the highest level of hold, if you sweat, if you get it wet, it is still going to start to break down. I don't
Yes.
care what it is, especially with African American hair along your edges, it will start to curl up. It'll
Yep.
start, because that's where most of the sweat is. So you
Right.
mean to tell me this heifer got into week 2?
Oh, yes. Okay. Okay.
Right? This heifer gets into week 2 and it looks like, your
Day
hair
one
hasn't
with no
budged.
maintenance. Yeah, you haven't had to put any pump it up or anything on that shit. Like
Nothing.
it's just
No,
stayed
nothing.
like
I
that.
love the
Like,
smell. I love the smell of Pump It Up, by the
ah,
way. It
me
smells
too.
like
The regular or the
finger
gold.
waves and happiness. Like I
I love it. Freeze curls. Yes. Oh my
yes,
god.
it smells like finger waves to me, and I absolutely love
Yes.
it. But you mean to tell me, I know you're wrapping your hair at night. So I know at some point in time your silk wrap, your bonnet, whatever, it shifted or it came off while you were sleeping. You woke up and your hair hadn't moved.
Yes.
You cannot
Exactly.
convince, you can't. You just can't. I can't buy the story, ma'am. I'm sorry. You knew what you were doing.
30 days. Like
Come
okay.
on
And
now.
I mean, I don't care if you're sitting on your ass and not doing anything for 30 days. Even like that. Like you said, you sweat on your head. You know that. Like I mean, it
Well,
should be.
forget that. Think about new growth.
Yes, that's yeah. Like if you have braids in your hair, like think about a new growth after a month. Like you're gonna have like a half an inch or
Absolutely.
maybe
So
even an
your
inch of
hair
new
didn't
growth.
grow for a whole month. You didn't feel like I guarantee her follicles are screwed. Whatever length
Yes.
her hair is at, that is where it will be for the
Yep.
rest of her life. And then they had to do acetone on top of that. Yeah, no, your hair's done, ma'am.
Yeah.
It's done. I
Yep.
guarantee if she were to say, I'm going to start all over and shave her head, she'd be Mr. Clean for the rest of her life. I know for a fact she would. Her hair
Yeah.
wouldn't even grow. First off, her hair is going to be like, nah, we gave you a chance already. You
Yes.
ruined it. We're not
I
giving you another opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I used to work at Sally's and I would see girls and I'm not saying this in any kind of way, but I would see a lot of white girls that would have like mixed kids and they
Right.
wouldn't know how to do their hair and they would think like they would end up coming and bringing their daughters in and being like, what can I do? And they had bought a perm somewhere. They would have ended up getting an extra
Oh
strength
God,
perm hair.
those
Yes,
just for me, quote
yes.
unquote, no
Well,
lie perms that are
no
not no
lie.
lie.
Seahawks, I've seen them where they put a grown woman extra strength perm in like a 3-year-old's hair, and this is a
That's not.
mixed kid's hair, and their hair fell out.
Yeah, because they're
And
doing it for the full 30
yes,
minutes. All you're doing is fry. So imagine how that baby felt with that
yes,
chemical just sitting on their scalp. Because how do
yes,
you keep, because if you're going to get a relaxer, I don't do relaxers. I don't do any of that anymore. I don't.
yeah,
I stopped. I haven't had one in years. But imagine this as an adult, if you have a hair appointment coming up, in a week, okay, I can't scratch my hair because I'm getting ready to get a relaxer touch up, right? So
right,
you can't scratch your hair because that's an open wound. You're putting the
right,
chemical in the open wound. You'll have scabs in your head, chemical burns. It'll be bad.
yeah,
Imagine trying to keep a 3-year-old from scratching their head.
yes,
And
yep,
then you turn around and put a grown PCJ Motions a dextrous strength perm on
yep,
this scalp. It's actually I've had a lot of women, especially when I was in my late teens, early 20s, and I've done a lot of community service. I'm telling you, I have thousands of hours of community service.
oh
And one of the
wow,
things we would do was we would go out into the neighborhood and we would just be like, hey, what do you need done today? So, we've mowed lawns, I've cleaned kitchens, I've
oh
done
wow,
hair, I've picked weeds, cleaned windows, just whatever. And it would be a lot of times, it would be that situation. You'd have, a white mother and they would have biracial children and they would look at me, obviously, I'm biracial, and go, what do you do? What do you do for your
right,
hair? And I'd be like, let me braid it. I'll braid it. And
yep,
I sat there for, 2, 3 hours doing braid styles,
oh
so
wow,
to help because I'm like,
right.
the biracial hair texture is quite weird and it varies.
It does. It can go from straight to just flat out, like what do they call it? Like a level, like the tightest curl ever.
Yeah,
Like
it
um
can. I have
yeah,
like, for instance, with my daughters, one of my daughters has really fine wave, like beach wave blonde hair, right? And
Uh-huh.
she's biracial. My other daughter, biracial as well, she has really thick, really huge, stereotypical biracial kids' hair. And
Okay.
they literally, their hair textures could get no more opposite. Now,
Right.
my one with the thinner hair, when she goes to wash her hair, water weighs it down. So it's literally just like, ugh. Yet my other one goes to wash her hair, and those curls look like big, beautiful,
Oh,
thick,
wow.
shiny curls. And so their hair products have to be totally different. The way they maintain it has to be totally different. Like my daughter with the thinner hair, she has to wash her hair every day because oil will
Right.
well, about every 2 days because oil will weigh her hair down. Whereas my other daughter, she can go once every week and a half.
Oh, wow.
And then, you have a lot of mistake. What I found out dealing with women who have biracial kids and not knowing what to do with their hair, naturally they start doing what they do with their own hair. And when you're dealing with biracial kids, for the most part, you can't wash their hair every day because
Right,
African
right.
American hair needs that oil. So you can't wash their hair every day. But they do it, and then they end up stripping their hair, and then they end up breaking their hair because they're removing what the hair needs to flourish and to grow.
Right.
So,
Hey,
whenever I
Seahawk,
get a chance, I tell
um, hold your thought. There's somebody in the chat called This Old
this
Helmet,
old helmet.
and he says, hello. So, hello, Old Helmet. And then it says, what was your MOS? I was a 12 Charlie. So, go ahead
I
with your story.
I was air traffic control in the Air
Were
Force.
you?
I was, yeah.
Oh, ew, you were Chair Force too, so you were
Hey,
smart.
hey,
See?
whoa, 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 hey, listen, let me tell you something. I'm so sick of you Army people. Don't be jealous that you didn't choose right the first time, all right?
No, we're haters. We are haters because what happens is once we are actually active duty and then we see how you guys are pampered and everything, then we're like, God damn
It's
it, if
not
I could just
pampered.
yeah.
They, it's not pampered. Our
What
branch
is
just
it?
cares. They just care. They
I
care.
guess.
The Army is just kind of like, what? You shot your wife 10 years ago? All right, you're good. You can
Yeah,
come on
you're all
in. You
right.
haven't shot nobody in 10 years. Come on
That's
in.
cool. Hey, CC, you know Harlem Street, don't you?
Yes.
You're cool with him?
I'm cool with everybody.
Okay, that's
I'd
no,
like to
you
think I'm one of
you
the
and
most liked
Goosebumps
people on
thing has
YouTube.
me dying lately where you're telling Goosebumps that he had to calm it down and everything. I was laughing so hard. Oh my
So
god.
here's the thing with me and Goosebumps. Yes, let's get into YouTube talk. I love this shit. All right.
Yeah.
So the thing with me and Goosebumps is I like Goosebumps and I think he's amazing and I love his mic with that small echo to it, and he never raises
Yes.
his voice and he's very monotone. So we were in someone's chat and I can't remember who, and he had said something like, "Oh, I'm noticing all the clicks and stuff on YouTube," and he was like, "Ugh," or something like that, and I said, "Goosebumps, would you like to be a click with me?" And he just and he said, maybe.
Oh no,
And
he
so I
didn't.
go, oh, so yes, yay! Me and Goosebumps are a click now. We're
Very
a click.
good.
Like a maybe is like a yes, so we're kind of like a thing now. We're kind of a thing because
Exactly.
he said maybe.
Yep.
He didn't say no. He said maybe.
Exactly. Nope.
We're
Like you
kind of
said, maybe is a yes. Yep.
maybe is a yes. So
Yep.
hey, we're a click now. I finally am in a click.
I love it.
No, I like Goosebumps. That dude cracks me the heck up all the
Yeah.
time.
And it's so his laugh it literally kills me because he'll say some slick shit and then he'll be like like he does that.
Yes, yes,
It
but the
cracks
thing
me
is,
up.
it's so funny because he knows what he means when he says it, and
Yes.
so he just like so slick with it, like the way he'll just slide it in there.
Yep.
And everyone, like for the most part, I'm like the ditziest person ever. I really do. I very rarely catch jokes. So every once in a while, you might hear me go, "Oh my god, I actually got that one." I think I've done it like twice. But for whatever reason, with Goosebumps, I catch it every time, and I'll just be like, "Goosebumps, you ain't shit. You ain't shit." I caught that. You ain't shit. This is why we're gonna make a great click because I can like read his mind.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I can. Like he said something the other day, and I was like, "Nobody will care about that. That'll be." And he was like, "You got to think bigger." And I was like, "See, he's helping me, broaden my horizons." Only a click member wants to make sure that I do better and I think
Yes.
bigger. You know what I mean? We're a
Yes.
team. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He's my teammate now.
Yes. Hey Harlem, how are you?
Hi, Harlem.
Hey,
know.
hey, good evening. How you ladies doing? How's
I'm
everything?
good. Listen, Harlem. Your freaking channel is amazing.
Oh, he has a channel. I'm gonna have to sub and find it and sub.
Thank you.
Oh wait, is he here? Is he here? Huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you talked right up on him. Did you hear her talking about you, Harlem?
No,
Oh yeah,
no, I
she just
didn't.
asked me. She literally just asked me if I knew you. Was that who you were talking about, Faith?
Yeah. Yep.
She just asked me if I knew you. Is he there?
Yeah, he is. He's like echoey
Oh
though a little
man.
bit. Oh no, now we can. I can hear you
Now we
now.
can hear you. You're good.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Can he hear us?
He responded.
I thought so. Harlem, can you hear us? Microphone check.
He might have to go out and come back in.
Okay. Do I have to do anything, or does he just drop off and
I
I let
mean,
him?
he can or you can. I don't know. Whichever works. Because if he can hear us, Harlem, if you can hear us, we can't hear you. So you might have to drop down and come back in.
Yeah, because I don't see. It doesn't look like he put himself on mute or anything.
He's not on mute.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna step down because I have to hit the gym. This body doesn't look the way it looks just naturally.
Oh
So
my goodness.
what? Have you
Oh, he
seen
dropped
any of
out.
my? There you go. Have you seen any of my workouts?
No, I haven't.
Bree put them up. I don't know. She puts them up. Well,
Yeah, but
anytime I
you're
put a new
you're
one up,
talking about RE, right? I can't find her doggone channel for shit.
I will email you the link. She has one of
Okay.
the hardest channels to find on YouTube. That's a fact.
Yeah, like I can't find it. I've looked for it like probably like 11, 12 times and like I cannot find it.
So you have to look for her under Sweeping Lioness, but I don't even think you can find her under that. Now, RA's channel is one of those members only. It's like once you're in, and it's so awesome you don't want to
Oh,
leave.
okay.
So as soon as you find one of her channels, you've got to subscribe or you will for a fact lose it. You will.
Okay. And you said it try it under sweeping like SW?
SWEEPING, Sweeping Lioness. I don't know if you'll be able to find it. I know you might. I mean, you might still.
I can just try to check it and then if because I know you got your trip or whatever, so then if that way you don't have
Oh,
to
I'll
worry about
email the link to
everything.
you either way. I'll get you. I'll
Okay.
get you the link. So even if you don't find it, oh, he's back, but he's muted.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys.
There
My
you
job.
go. Your mic sounds
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
my that was my job calling because there's a snowstorm, so I
Where
guess
are
they
you
wanted
at?
to
Oh, you're in
to tell
Harlem.
us. Yeah, they wanted to tell us that it was okay to come to work tomorrow or something like that.
Oh, how disrespectful. That's some disrespectful ass shit.
Yeah,
Right?
tell me about it.
Do you guys have snow and stuff go bad there?
Yeah, it's a snowstorm actually right now, but it's not really snowing that heavy though. It's kind of light,
Okay.
but it
Okay.
might pick up tonight, so I don't know. But yeah,
Oh,
it's been kind of snowy lately.
Now, Seahawks, before you leave, I have a couple of
yes,
questions
ma'am.
to ask you if it's
Sure. A
okay.
couple? So that means it's more than one, right? So you better not just ask just one, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. All right. Okay. Let me think. How am I supposed to word it? Okay, I don't. You know
Girl,
how
just
people.
say it.
Okay. You know how people like come up and like I'm new to this side of it, but
Okay.
apparently they'll show their penis and stuff like that, and you can't let them on because their channel will go down.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
porn bombing or whatever they're calling it.
Yes.
Okay, now if I am like, okay, if say how Harlem just came up here, when
Okay.
you hear people say, "Oh, show me your hand" or something like that, how do you see it without letting them up on the panel?
So you'll make your picture bigger so it'll block the screen. And then what happens
Oh,
is, so watch what happens is this. You saw how I came in the back, right?
yeah,
Now you all you saw was my avatar and my name. You can
yeah,
have them before you let them enter, turn their camera on and
okay,
show their face, or I would prefer, especially if if it's nobody you don't know,
uh-huh.
I'd have them show their face. If it's somebody you do know, just have them verify, because when they turn their camera on, only you can see it.
Okay, okay, all right, thank you. Because I was like, I didn't know how in the world you're supposed to do that, and then I was like, what if I let somebody up there and they do that, and like, how do you stop it like quick enough?
You just
Why are
keep
people
the
doing
cursor
that?
keep the cursor on the get the hell out button.
Yeah, exactly. But why are people doing that shit? Like, is it just to like I don't
Are you
know.
really asking a common sense question about
Well,
the youth, about this sector? Why are you
well,
doing that?
well. Listen. Here's the thing, right? Okay, I get like I don't like you, so I'm gonna porn bomb your channel. I get that,
Hmm.
but who are the people like how I was going around the triple and his thing, right? And
Hmm.
if it really wasn't him, like who in the world does it and puts it under his name
So
and like
here's the thing, they're saying that even if, let's say, for instance, there's a way, and I don't know how to do it with StreamYards.
mhm.
Greg might know, Buddy may know. But there is a way that even if I go to call in, right, and I have the app, my avatar picture I have now, and I have my name, so you would think it was me, but it's someone else. They're saying that there's a way that it'll show you, you can use StreamYards, and it'll show you who it is.
Oh, like even though they've got it like a
It's set
code
up
to
like
where
it's me. Yeah. So
okay,
just
kind
ask
of
Greg. He may be able to walk you through how to do that. But they're saying that there is a way to verify who the person really is that's calling in. I just don't know how.
okay, wow, that's crazy. That's like be careful if you know the what is it, that silhouette thing? Me and behind the bar, he was saying like how he wanted the people to do
They
the
can
silhouette
remove that
thing.
red filter.
Yes. Yeah, how about he cammed me down when I he was
You
like,
he said stop snitching.
yes. I was like, oh hell no. That
Listen,
was
I
so
was sitting there
funny.
going, I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do a silhouette challenge. I'm gonna do it. I read that they removed the filter. I said, I ain't doing shit.
Yeah,
Nope.
right. I'm not doing it. Yeah, I'm not
I'm
gonna
not
do it.
doing that shit. But you know
Nope.
what though? Like that it was for those that were being extra bold with it and they weren't wearing clothes.
I was gonna say, because couldn't you wear like some leggings and like a tank top, that were real tight on you to where it would look like you didn't have clothes, because you don't
Yeah, but you have those
technically.
attention seeking types that they just go all out. Like this doesn't
Yeah.
exist on the internet forever.
See, I'm not that bold.
Even if you don't wear like tight leggings and a tank top, wear a bikini.
Yeah. Yep. There you go. Yeah.
There's many ways to do it without being completely nude. But yeah,
Right.
you told the business. That's why behind the bar said, get the hell out of here. He said, stop snitching, damn it.
Right. That was funny though, and it was funny. I think I had saw that on the news like that day. Like I had just seen that too. It was
Oh,
crazy.
it's all over TikTok too.
Is it? See, I don't have
Yeah,
a
it's
TikTok.
like if you're going to look and you can click on the sound and see every video that's been made for that sound. Amongst those videos, every maybe 3 to 5 videos, you'll get somebody telling you, "Hey, be careful." Yeah, it's they use
Oh,
the sound,
really?
so when you go to listen to all the videos for that sound, it'll pop up and it'll be like, "Be careful." They have ways to remove the red filter.
Oh, wow. I've never even like clicked on TikTok before. Like I'm all
Unfortunately, I get stuck in that hole often.
really.
Yeah, if you want to know where I am when no one's live and I'm not, like nobody's live, you want to know where I am, go on TikTok.
You're TikToking. Um,
Oh, I'm not
I w-
TikToking, I'm watching other people.
oh, you're watching the TikTokers. Okay, I get it. I'm getting the lingo down. And then the other question I had, I think you were still in the chat, and you said I did pin my Cash App, right? Whatever that
Yes, you
means.
did. Your Cash App is pinned.
Yay! Because
Yes.
I've been trying to do that for like a week. And one more last question.
Sure.
Um, you were saying like, remember when we were going to contact each other, and you were asking if I had like an IG.
Yes,
Um, I think that it might have been behind the bar. I can't remember. But he was saying that I definitely need one if I'm going to be a channel holder. And
absolutely.
the question I have is though, like, if you don't want to make it in any kind of, like your real name, do you just make it
Sure.
like I would just make it in Fave?
Okay, so the one that I have is strictly um YouTube one. So I
Okay.
don't show my kids, I don't show, addresses. I put my car on there the other day because I was super excited that it came from all the way from Hawaii to Texas and it had not
Yeah.
one
Right.
scratch on it. But even
Ooh.
then, like I went and I edited out my license plate and the license plates of the other cars that were around me.
Oh,
But yeah,
nice.
you can do it. So what you want to do is I had someone have come across this issue. They used their real phone number when they were setting it up. And what happened was there are people who are contacts in their phone that have that number. It'll start recommending you to them like, hey, you may know such and such, and it'll pop up.
Oh.
So what I did was I created a Google number.
Okay.
And then I use my Google number for that. So that number has no attachment to anybody um, in
Right.
my real life. So
Right.
do that and then set one up, and you can absolutely do it. My real name is not on there at all.
Okay.
It says CC.
Okay.
That's
And
what
when
it
you're
is.
filling out the stuff, like how you said, get a different phone number, and like when it says like your name, you just like put a fake one in there, or
Put fake.
your
Yeah, you can
avatar
put a
name.
fake one, put a fake name. And then when it asks you for your username, and that's the one that everyone will see, you put Fave or Female Army
Okay.
Veteran. Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, because I was super worried about that because I almost did it last night, and I'm like, nope, I'm gonna mess it up. Like, and how you said the phone number, I would have done that. Like, I
Yeah,
would've done-
yeah, that's what somebody had one, and it started. I guess they came across as a recommended contact for their nieces, and their nieces sent requests to join, and it freaked them all the way out, and so they shut it down. And I said, well, your mistake was you used your real phone number.
Okay.
So creating a little fake number, like a Google phone number, it takes all of about maybe 15 seconds. And
Okay.
then you'll use that for anything that's going to be related to YouTube that you don't want, to cross over into your real world. Because these
Okay,
people are
got it.
nuts.
Okay,
Can you
got it.
imagine? Can you imagine if I had my YouTube IG connected to
I
my
was
as
just,
much
yeah,
as
that,
much as they hate me for whatever
oh
reason?
my
Nobody
God.
hates me, but as much as I have a couple people that strongly dislike me for whatever reason, when anyone finds out, please let me know.
I will tell you what it is off the bat,
Okay.
because I have the same thing happen to me, like not on here, but like in real life. And it seems like what it is being a girl that you're pretty, you don't have to put a lot of effort into it. You get a lot of attention and you don't even try. If you notice when you're living in like a city or something, if you walked by me and I don't know you and I like your boots or something like that, I'm gonna be like, oh, hey, I like your
Oh, I
boots.
do that all the
Cool.
time.
Right. Now, if you're in a place like YouTube, instead of complimenting you on something like your looks or your hair or anything, if you're getting attention and all this other stuff, they're going to hate on you. And that's what you're
It's
getting, is you're getting a bunch of insecure female and male hate. That's for no reason, just because, they can't do what you do.
That sounds like a them problem.
It is. It is. But you know what I mean? Like, they envy that.
Yeah, and that's okay. I mean, that's fine. It's ridiculous. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous
it's
as much as I'm
stupid.
trolled.
And yes, exactly. It
That's
makes
what I
them.
told, I can't remember who I was talking to, and I said, people troll me like I have a channel that creates a lot of controversy or something. I don't even make videos. I call into panels, and very few people at that. It's like now it's you. I call into La. I call into Greg.
Yes, and it's
That's
not like you're up there
about it.
starting shit either.
I don't even turn my camera on half the time.
No,
Well, I haven't turned my camera on in months, and it's because of all this stuff that's been happening.
yeah, I
And
don't
so
blame you.
somebody said to me, they were like, "Do not turn your camera on anymore." And it was somebody I actually respect, and I haven't done it since because I'm like,
See,
it's
that's why I haven't done mine yet, because I'm scared. Like, like, I don't want
well,
to
the
do it.
first time mine came on, it was completely by accident.
Oh no.
The content creator was verifying, that I was who I was.
Oh yeah.
And I'm so glad I was having a good hair day.
Yeah, exactly, right?
But
That would have been all over everywhere.
God, they added me to the panel. And this was the first time, because I've been here since 2011, so I'm not new to any of this. All these
Right.
characters, the characters change, the narrative is always the same. And they had turned it on, so everybody thought I was a guy, because why would a girl's name be Seahawks fan, right? And so literally, I've always been viewed as a guy. For instance, Mr. Gibb, whenever I would say hello, he'd give me the fist bump that he gives all the guys. And he used to irk my freaking nerve. He did that for like years upon years upon years. We were just talking about that yesterday.
That's
but
funny.
They thought I was a guy. So they turned the camera on, added me to the panel before I could turn my camera off. And I'm just like, oh, here I am.
Uh-oh.
And I just, well, yeah, I'm doxing myself at this point.
True,
So,
true.
hi. And then everybody, literally almost the whole chat was like, wait a minute, that's a girl?
Oh God. Immediately your DMs are blowing up, right?
Yes, immediately. I kid you not, immediately it was like, who is that in the green shirt? She's fine as shit. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, camera off. So then I was like, well, shit, let's shock the world then. And I called in the laws about something. She was having a title. And the title of her, her titles are, oh my God,
Yeah.
they are amazing. And so I was like,
Yeah.
I was going to call in, and I called in and I left my camera on, and she's like, you got your camera on? And I'm like, I know. And she was like, oh shit.
Well, that's cool.
So after that, I was like, it's to a point now. It's like, if you know kind of situation with me.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
getting to the point that somebody had said, hey, beautiful. They were greeting me in the chat, and somebody commented and goes, how do you know that that's a girl, and why are you calling it beautiful? And I'm
Oh
like,
my
yes.
God.
I'm like, I have arrived. I have been waiting to get back to this point,
Right.
because I'm gonna go
Well,
back
there's
to
a button. There's a button somewhere like on where you can do incognito on YouTube. What is that? Do you guys
So
know?
on YouTube, incognito mode, a lot of people, I know I've heard it being used for, let's say, for instance, you see someone is being greeted in a chat, but you don't see them. So you can go in and use incognito mode and see them. I've never used it. I've never used incognito. I have way too many
Right. I'm gonna have to Google it and
I have
find
too
out,
many
and then I'll
troll
let you know.
accounts. I do. I have about 12.
Do you? Somebody asked me if I had. They were like, "Oh, there's no way that's your only account." I'm like, "Yeah, it really is." Like, I
Well, a
don't. But
lot
I
of
didn't know
people,
anything
so
about
I have
trolling.
2 accounts because I have more than 2, I said 2. I originally got a second account, excuse me, because I was going at it with Chucky and he kept blocking me. I don't like
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is when me and him were freshly on the outs. And so I got more because he kept blocking all of them. So I have a bunch because I have things I want to say and you're going to hear me, damn it.
Exactly. Right.
But now we're to the point that he's unblocked my main one, so we're good. But I have a hella troll account. So if I see someone or somebody will reply, like there was a person not too long ago, I don't know if you saw it, and they would go in with my picture, or it was either my picture or a picture of a cat. I can't remember which one Maya said it was. But it was my name. And so I go into the chat later, but I'm seeing everybody saying, sup, Seahawks, hey, CC, da da da. And I'm like, hi, guys, I'm here. What are y'all talking about? I haven't written anything, but that person had blocked me and then
What?
proceeded to go into a chat like they were me. Mm-hmm. There was another person who had took the actual picture I was using as an avatar, and they had took my name, my name. But with YouTube, you can never spell the name the same way because
Okay. I wondered about that. Like, you'd have to have if you were capitalized, they would have to lowercase it or
so
something.
the way my name is written is how my name is on YouTube. So they have went in and they did Seahawk, no S, fan, and then they put the 33 closer to the N.
Okay.
But to the average person, you're just going to look and see Seahawks fan. You're like, hey, what's up? You're not actually going to be able to notice, oh, the S is missing. The 33 is closer. And they did that. They had that written. I think it was written that way. And the actual avatar I was using, and they were over in someone else's chat talking cash shit about another content creator and their children.
Oh my goodness. What?
And this was a chat I had never been in. This was a chat that's known for being quite controversial. Or I'll email you, all the names to this. But
yeah,
they
can you
have
imagine though going to a channel that say you've never been to or something, and or how we were talking about Bailey, say she had a live, and you love her to death, and somebody goes in there as a troll and just ruins it. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. So, the cool thing is, like I said, I've been around for a while. Right. So I had quite a few people who know, because how I move on YouTube is genuinely how I move in real life. I have very few people who dislike me. You see how I'm cool with everybody. Everybody from all kinds of different channels speak to me and I speak to them. And that's how it is for me in real life. And so I had about 6 people send me screenshots of that and was like, this isn't you in it. I'm like, is it? And I'm like, does that sound like something I would say? And they were like, no. And I was like, okay. And I took that person that they were talking about, and I took one of the screenshots I had got, and I went straight to that content creator, showed her the screenshot. I said, I'm letting you know ahead of time, this is not me. This is not how I move. I don't talk about people's parenting. I don't talk about people's children. I don't. If I troll the way I want to be trolled, and I definitely don't want you talking about my kids.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. So I've had that. I've had people create accounts saying that I look like I have Down syndrome.
Oh my God.
I've had I have a big head account. I have one that was, I have baby teeth account.
What?
I've had one that says my coochie smells like mango account. I've had.
Alrighty then.
I swear. And all because I call into panels. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
when it came to that IG account, there was no way in the absolute world I was going to put anything related to my
right, right.
real
Yeah,
life on there.
now I understand why. My
So
goodness.
yeah, I told you that to give you an idea of why you want to keep as anonymous as possible because these people out here are nuts. They
Wow.
literally attack me because I go on panels and I laugh and I crack jokes. And it just so happens that everybody's like, she's beautiful. You know what I mean? I didn't even say or
Right.
do anything. And the
Well,
person I
yeah,
did go
and see,
after, everybody equaled me.
like I
Huh?
told you, Seahawks, you get all that attention without having to do anything when these other girls have to, act thirsty as shit and they don't even get half the attention. So that's where you get the hate.
And that's okay. And that's okay. That's fine. I mean, everywhere you go in the world, you have different types of people and
But
personalities.
be
I
grown,
personally don't.
Seahawks, like be grown and come to you and be like, hey, I'm a woman, you're a woman, give me some tips.
Right. Well, I'm like you. I was not too long ago. I was in Walmart and this girl's makeup was insanely flawless. And I walk up and I said, I just want you to know your makeup is flawless. Like you could tell she had it on, but there wasn't a wrinkle, a crack, a nothing in it. It was amazing. And she
Nice.
looked at me and she went, oh my God, thank you. And I could tell at that point she's probably used to people staring and sneering
Yep.
instead of well, and then on top of that, not only are you, not being so threatened by someone else, complimenting someone else does not make you look less of a person. It
Exactly.
it doesn't. But you also never know what kind of day that person was having.
I told you about that guy that came in the bank.
Yeah, I wouldn't have complimented his murderous ass. Hell no, I'd have told him he was funky. That's a whole different situation.
No, but I mean how he was like kind of snapping and stuff. Like, what if
Hmm.
my friend would have snapped back at him? Like, what would have
He
happened
would have
then? You
killed
know what I
her
mean?
and dumped her in the same damn hole.
I'm telling you. Yep.
He'd have waited for her to come
Yep.
out of work. Oh, I stank heifer. I got your ass. And he would have laid her right on top of his wife.
I'm telling you. Oh my God, that is such a crazy story.
Yeah, that is. But yeah, just if you go to do it, do a Google phone number. When it asks you for
Okay.
your name for the account, use a fake name. And then when it asks you for your username, you'll do Fave or female army veteran or whatever. And then once it's done, tell me so you can come on my IG.
Yeah, I know you're gonna be my first person. Just like, oh, and you got
Yay.
your wrench too, so I'm good with that. But
So
then you're
yeah,
gonna
when you
post
come
your
on
trip
mine, you'll
though.
find everybody else, I'm sure.
Okay. Okay. Awesome.
And you can
Awesome.
request to follow from there.
Cool.
All right,
Yay.
boo.
Thank you for helping me so much.
No problem. I'm here to help.
Thank you. Thank you. And make sure that you stay safe there until well,
Oh no,
hopefully.
where I am, we don't have our snow is melted. Our snow is okay. Our snow is melted. We were blessed enough to not lose power.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Um,
Awesome.
so it's basically business as usual here. I'm just hoping that, I already checked into my flight that leaves tomorrow, going
Okay.
to
Okay. Good. So
Atlanta.
it hasn't been canceled or
Yeah,
anything.
I mean, you can always check into a flight and then it's canceled, though. You know what I mean?
True.
So I
True.
checked in. So far, I'm good. It hasn't been canceled. I've got to get to Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have a blast. Oh, I'll give you a little tip too. You know when you go in the airport and they have a little thing where it says if your bag can fit in here, you can carry it on, and you gotta like
Mhm.
okay, if you can, I learned if you can shove it in there, like if it doesn't just fit in there, if you can kick it in there, you can still carry it on.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you right now, I have suitcases that I bought. I had went to an airline. I usually fly United or American, and I
Yeah.
had went to their airlines to learn the dimensions of that thing, and my suitcase is the exact dimension. So
Nice.
I don't play with them, and I stuff it as much as I want to, but it always fits. So, and I'm only going to be in Atlanta for the weekend, so I probably will need more room for shoes than anything else.
Right.
Well, you'll
Yeah.
understand what I mean with me and shoes when you're on my IG. I make a lot of people sick. Tracy by Nature and Mayor Detroit both said I need to go to Shoes Anonymous.
Oh,
I
shoes
don't
are
listen to
cool.
them. I don't listen to them. They're bad. They don't know me.
Yeah, they
So
don't know. They're just jealous because they don't have as many
it's
shoes.
yeah, I literally do. It's actually quite sad, and it's all Jordans, so it's really bad. So,
Nice.
all right, ma'am. It was so
Well,
good calling into your show.
yes, thank you. I had a blast.
Yeah, me too. All right, Harlem, your turn. I'm out of here.
Bye, Seahawks.
Bye. Bye.
Hey, Harlem. Sorry about that. We kind of like went on a tangent. I wanted to catch her though before she left, so I could ask her about all the tips and stuff.
Right. No, I was enjoying the conversation y'all was having. It was pretty cool.
Oh, cool. That's good. We weren't boring you too much. You should have been in here a little bit earlier. We had got on I guess that she went to college for kind of like the same thing I did for criminal justice. So we got talking about serial killers and like all this other stuff, and it went really cool. Like we were into. Then we talked about the suicide dog bridge, and it went to a whole. It was going everywhere, but it was fun though. I'm really glad that she came in. But how's your day going? You said it's snowing.
Yeah, it's a little snow out here. I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm going through a bit of a hangover, so I'm
Oh,
I'm over here
hangover
smoking.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
I
Yep.
used to get hangovers so bad because my tolerance was so high. So like I knew I was guaranteed to get a hangover. Like I'd either have to sleep it off or eat something really greasy and then take a nap too.
Hmm.
Like I don't know how people like. Do you remember when you were younger, you could go out and drink like every day and get like 1 hour of sleep and you were good? Then when you get older, you're like, oh God, if I did that, I'd die.
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't imagine doing that anymore. That was just almost impossible to do now. But yeah,
Yes.
you're right. Yeah, there was a time when you shake it off, you shake off anything back then.
Yep. Shoot, you could get an hour of sleep, drink for 2 days in a row, and then go to work.
Right, unbelievable. I can't believe that I used to actually do that, but
Me
I used to
either.
do that a
Yeah.
lot, you know.
Yep. Oh my God, I'm sorry. My dog just got a hold of her toy. Yeah, that's crazy though. Did you go out last night?
No, I was surfing the internet, having conversations here and there, and
True.
yeah, just kind of, having really good discussions, and then I end up drinking. I had some absolute vodka.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so now I'm smoking a little bit of weed to help out with
Your
the
hangover,
hangover.
yeah, that helps too, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. I know I'd be afraid to go out. Like, well, I never really went out much in the first place, but with the what flying around out there, I'd be kind of leery about going out because not only, you're touching things and then people can like just come by you and like, I don't know, cough in your face and you'd be right there and not be able to avoid it.
Yep.
I
I'm
don't
a
even
bit of a
think, matter of
homebody.
fact. Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I'm a bit of a homebody, so I pretty much just,
Me too.
I'll find a way to entertain myself in my
Yep,
house.
me too. I don't even think though I've seen any kind of get together or people that I've ran into or talked to that have said they went out to just a regular hole in the wall club. I don't think that any of them have even had a mask rule. So like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know. Like you said though, I avoid people. So
yeah. I've had enough of the family gatherings. When I was with my baby mom, we would have a family gathering over at her house almost all the time. And so I've
oh
had my fair share of that. And those was actually the days that I would get really drunk and then wake up in an hour and go to work.
yeah, see, yep. Mm-hmm.
So I
Aw.
yeah. So I've had
So
my
you
fair
have
share of
kids? How
that.
many kids do you have?
I have one son.
Oh, how old is he?
He'll be 9 in April. He's 8.
Oh wow. Aw. He's a pretty good kid. Do you and the baby mom get along? I know that what do you call it? One of my topics down the road is going to be like child support and all that good crap.
Yeah, we get along. Fortunately, I'm not on child support. We get
Oh,
along
that's
pretty
good.
we get along pretty fine. I mean, we do argue a lot. That's why we're not together. But
Right.
I don't. I try to not to piss her off. You know, I've
Yeah.
you know be, we were together, so I know how she is. I know how to rub her the wrong way,
Uh-huh.
and I don't really like going at it with her. Those arguments. I'm tired of it. I'm
Right,
tired
I was
of
just
them.
gonna say, like you said about not being together, like that's one of the reasons, right? So why do I want to argue with you and we're not together?
Right, exactly. So, I mean, we had a little tiff the other day, something with my son's computer, because he's doing a whole remote learning thing, and
Yeah.
I didn't like how frantic she was, and I was just trying to explain to her that you're gonna have to follow up behind him.
Right.
You can't just put it on like autopilot and expect him to just do what he's a kid at the end of the day. So, you
Right,
know,
right. I was
and he
having
get
that problem
yeah,
when I had my stepsons living with me. Oh boy, I had them do well. I had to learn because their school actually didn't say anything like, "Oh, they're gonna every class they have, they'll log in, and then the teacher will be on video, and she wants them on video." None of that ever was told or came through. It was like the teachers were almost learning like we were learning, and it got to a point to where everything was kind of getting smoothed out, but kids will try to trick you. Like my stepson, the youngest one, is 10 now, and they would try to put their headphones on, and I would catch them being logged out of class and not in their class, but I couldn't hear it. So I had to tell them eventually, no headphones. I got to hear your teachers talking. Like, I mean, they'll get away with it if they can. You're right on that one.
right. And me, I just because he's been with me, I'll say for like
Oh,
the past 9 months, and then so she just bought a house in New Jersey, so he went back with her and
right.
everything. But yeah, she could you can't see the whole thing about well you're not there, so you don't know what's she can't run that on me. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, and I told her, I just said, at the end of the day, you just have to follow up. It just
Yep.
is what it is. I would have to wake up, make sure I'm up before him, and
Yep.
make sure he was in class. You can't just expect children to just get up and do the right thing all the time. You know.
Exactly. Now, do you guys, where you're at, do you have a choice for them to actually go to physical school or work online, or are they all not able to go to school?
No, they did give us they did open the schools back up and they gave people that
Okay.
choice. But I preferred the remote learning.
Yeah, me too. That's why my ex or whatever, we had like an argument about that because I was trying to tell him like, okay, they're opening the schools, but this is something new. They can't guarantee that they're going to be okay. Like I thought that they should still do the remote learning, and he didn't agree with me, so they ended up going with him. And what's kind of funny about that is they're both apparently not doing too well in school at all, and they want to come back here, but because me and him are not together, like, you know what I mean, it's like a big pain in the ass. But you made the right choice, I think, in my opinion, for him to be homeschooled right now, because there have been two times, I think, two or three times now, and they've only been with the dad for uh maybe 4.5 to 5 months, and there's been a COVID scare three different times with both of them where they've sent them home for 7 days and said that there was a person that tested positive that was sitting in the same room.
Wow.
So yeah, now the thing about that, right, is I was like, okay, well, did they tell you that, there was a kid right next to him that, I thought they were spaced out, and they are spaced out. But apparently, if a kid tests positive in that room, they'll send yours home for 7 days. Now, I thought schools were supposed to be testing them, like every day, not just taking their temperature or anything like that. What they're doing in Florida is, I don't know if they're saving money this way or what, they're testing the kids, but it's taking 3 days for the damn results to come back. So if a kid tests positive, your kid is exposed to it for 3 days. And it
Mm,
just doesn't make any sense to me why they're doing it that way. So like I said before, you made the right choice to keep him home. Period.
Yeah. 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 The whole school thing is a bit aggravating anyway. For me, it was because I would have to there were times where I would have to go to the school and that's traveling and things like that. So I don't have to worry
Yeah.
about that anymore, right? For time being. So that was cool. That was cool.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing too. It does work out well that way. Like even though you got to wake them up and make sure that everything's going, at least it's not driving all the way across town or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep. And
Yeah.
me, a lot of times, I would get chilled out sometimes because I would pick him up early sometimes because that would
Uh-huh.
fit my schedule. So it would be like you can't keep doing that. You can't, it's like, come on, it's just like one day, you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's not like he would have missed a whole bunch of stuff or he had some sort of, like away trip or something.
Right.
Sometimes though, I mean, if you can get along with your baby's mom and everything, that's awesome. But sometimes, like I noticed with my experience with my ex's baby's moms, it seems like if they ever get in a bad mood and just want to chew somebody out, that's when you're getting the arguments. Or if they don't have a boyfriend at the time, there's different factors to it. Like it kind of sucks because you're stuck with that person for 18 years. You may as well stay over 18 years, but oh, it's tricky. It's tricky. Are you gonna, you want to have more kids?
No, no. I do. I enjoy the experience of having a baby. I was a doting father,
Aw,
but I wouldn't want to have any more kids, you know. I just
right.
wouldn't, you know.
Well, that's
But
kind of cool because you got your boy, so that's
yeah,
kind of good.
yeah. But it was nice. It is nice, having a holding the baby and sleeping with the baby and then putting the baby on your chest, and you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I
you
spent a
get to
lot
have
of
that
time. Yeah,
experience.
I spent a lot of time with my son when he was a baby. So
That's good because I don't think a lot of guys do that, and I think they miss a lot of things because just watching them grow up and you get to see the little things that they're learning and how they do it and how their personalities are developing. I think that is so awesome. But it's not only, I think it's sad though because a lot of dads are missing out on that, and it's not because they necessarily want to, but because they don't want to put up with the baby mother's mouth and drama and everything. Like I think if you've got a baby's dad or an ex or whatever, if they want to see their kid, just let them see the kid because you're taking it out on the kid. That's the only person it hurts is the child.
hmm yeah, she's not like that.
That's
She
good.
could,
You lucked
yeah,
out on that one.
she could be a pain in the ass, but she was never like that.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, my
And
thing
that'll
is
make
I just don't like people telling me what to do. And I think that was like one of our major issues, and she wanted me
Oh,
to like change something about, our situation or whatever, if I didn't see a problem with it, I probably would drag my feet on it. And that would, it's like, I'm not changing for anyone, so
right.
and it was just kind of selfish on my part, but it is what it is.
Right, right. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Oh my gosh, she's doing her toy again. Yeah, I know that I kind of wish I was talking to Seahawks about it. I wish I was stuck up there now like getting snowed on. Like it's so humid and hot down here right now. It's ridiculous. Like it's just so I don't know. I wish there was some place you could go and live where the temperature would be like I don't know, 63 to like maybe 79 all year round. And oh, that would be just like a nice place to live because you either go places and they're really hot or they're too cold or too many tornadoes. Like,
Right. Yeah, I would love to live in a place like that. I think they have there's a place like that in Australia. I looked it up actually because I had this conversation before with someone.
oh, really?
Um, yeah, and I actually looked up places like that. And know they have a few places like that in California as well.
Really? In Cali?
Yeah, where it's
I always
like
thought it was kind of
60,
hot over there. I've never
yeah,
been, so I don't know, but
yeah, somewhere in like Northern California, like, there's like certain spots where it's like 64, 75 degrees every day, all day.
right. Yeah. Like that would just be so nice. Ugh. I don't know. The only reason, like, I made a joke about it, right? And I don't know, like, how old you are, but I know you're not that old. But so you shouldn't take offense to this. But there's a lot of old people down in Florida. You know what I mean? And they always say that people come down here to die or whatever, which is horrible. But that's what everybody says. And you know how like older people, they get cold really easily. So like I was talking to people one time and I'm like, maybe that's why they're down here and it's so hot and they like it because you start to get really cold, you go where it's warm. So I don't know. Other than that, I don't honestly know why a bunch of people live down here. If you don't have money in Florida, like, oh, you're just going to be like working and working and working and working and it's not enjoyable at all.
Yeah, a lot of people they from New York. I know that they go and retire in Arizona. So I think it is due to the heat. They're in their old age. They're more comfortable with the heat. You know.
Right, right. Well, and I know up north, I don't know how it is in New York. I do know that you guys definitely pay, like it's a really expensive place to live at. And I think your like minimum wage is higher, because of the cost of living. But I do know that say like, okay, say if you work in McDonald's in Florida, right? You're gonna make like, I'm just guessing, but say you make like $10 an hour. If you do that same job anywhere up north, you're gonna get paid almost double for doing the same job. But why? It's just because of the weather. Like, so many people want to be down here or be where it's warm that it's literally like you make less. And that's why you see a lot of the people, we call them snowbirds, but a lot of the people that'll be up north, they work and save their money and save their money. And then when they retire, they move down here.
Hmm. Yeah.
But that's why I said, I think like, after what happened with my mom, I think I'm going to move back up north because I could work or do whatever I want to do up there and make, 10 times as much as I could down here. So,
Right. Yeah, man. I don't want to live where it's hot. I don't like the heat. I don't like the sweat.
yeah.
I'm really thinking about buying one of those. They have these portable air conditioners that you wear on your person now. I was
What?
thinking of getting, yeah, it kind of like goes around your neck somewhat. I was seriously thinking about getting that because that's how much I don't like being hot. I don't like sweating. I really don't like the heat at all.
Yeah, that's like I can't sleep if I'm hot. If I'm like when we had a hurricane down here, like I think it was like 3 years ago, we had no power for I think it was like 8 or 9 days, and it was so hot and so humid, and it didn't rain ever. It was horrible. And I couldn't sleep like almost every damn day. Like I think I finally slept an hour or two from exhaustion, but that was it because I don't know how people sleep hot. Like if people have a whole bunch of covers on and like, it'll be hot. Like that's crazy.
Hmm. I remember I would go to Houston, Texas to visit family out there, and I would like go outside a day and would die. And
Yeah.
and you have to get with the culture down there because really the truth is the people don't come out until it's dark. And
Yep,
they're like,
yep, that's how it is here.
they're like, you didn't know that? Like, no one goes out in the day, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
And you're like, well, damn, I'm sorry. I thought I was just doing normal human shit. Like you guys are the weird ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how people are down here. Like it's a joke, right? Because you'll go to the mall or something and it'll still be daylight. You can go like now where it's like, like 5, almost 6, and be like, dang, there's nobody in here. And people are always like, like nobody comes out till dark. I'm like, oh, what the hell? Yep, that's crazy. That's funny though. That's another like down here when I moved down here from up north, when I was in North Dakota, that it was exceptionally cruelly cold up there. And I was so hot down here, like even in the air conditioning, like I was sweating, like it was horrible. It took me so long to get acclimated to the damn climate down here again. Like, oh, it's horrible. I don't know how. One of my friend, her air conditioning, the possums ate like her air conditioning ducts and stuff, so she had to get it fixed. They couldn't fix it for like a month, and I couldn't even stand going in her house. It was so bad. Like, oh god. And they'd just be in there hanging out like like nothing's different. Like people that have been in the hot places like Arizona, Texas, here, and they've grown up here. I don't like they're always like, oh, I'd die if I was in the cold. So I think they're used to it down here. But when you're like me or you and you move or go someplace like that, it's just miserable.
Yeah. I will say I enjoy I enjoy going to St. Croix though. My father, he built a home out there in like the mountains. So
Uh-huh.
he's like really high up. So even though it's hot there, he always has like a really nice breeze where he lives, you know.
That sounds awesome. That's crazy. I've never been there. I would love to go there. Like, that's crazy. And your dad built a house there. Good for that's cool.
Yep.
And then to
And
build it up in the mountains somewhere, like that's your dad has skills.
yeah, yeah, he's into that. He likes to rent out vacation homes. He has a couple more in DR and Antigua. Yeah, DR and Antigua.
Wow.
hmm
That's
So,
really neat.
but yeah, it's really nice. I would go up there even as a kid, and I would swing on the swing, and you know. But when I would go to see my grandma, who lived in like the where it's flat, like in the flat lower lands,
Uh-huh.
it would be hot, you know. But I was a kid, so I would prefer going to her house when I was a kid because I would get to play with my cousins, and that's what all the other kids were at. You know,
Right, right.
she like lived in a neighborhood, whereas like my father, where he lives is like secluded. Like there's houses
Right.
like
He's got like a zombie fortress.
right. It's like houses every other like every mile or so you'll see a house,
Oh
and then
wow.
yeah, you're advised not to go poking around on people's property because they have dogs and shit. So you're
Oh
pretty just,
yeah.
you know, so when you're at his house, you just there. You're just at his house. Like, you know what I mean? And I
Right.
was a
Now you
kid,
know where
you
you
know,
got your antisocialness from.
yeah, I was a kid and I would want to like, come on, dude, let's because um my father had stepchildren.
Uh-huh.
He had married again with a woman who had kids already. Her name was Consuela. And so there was a she had a daughter and a son and an older son, but well, two more sons, but they were older. They had left the house. But one of the boys was still there. He was around the same age. He probably was 2 years older than me.
Okay.
And I remember when one of the first times I went there, I told him, I said, you know, take me somewhere, like take me to where do you guys go? Like I want to go to the store.
Right.
And this dude took me to the store, man. We was like walking forever. And I'm
Oh
sweating and
wow.
shit. I'm like, dude, where the fuck is he? Like, hey, you wanted to go to the store, man. I'm like, well, you could have fucking told me that, you know.
Right? You should have told me to like bring the backpack with like, I don't know, like bottled water and like life supplies. Like I didn't know we were gonna do an overnight camping trip. Like
Yeah, that shit was like a fucking safari walk or some shit, you know.
that's crazy.
And we, you know, my pops, he keeps like abundance of juices and things in the house, so I could have just drunk that. But like I said, I wanted to go to the store, but it wasn't like going down south, you know. When I was a
Right.
kid, I would go down south. You know, you go to the store. There's a store. You can actually go to a store. I would like to walk around and explore, like maybe go to a
Right.
park or something. Where's the basketball courts at? You know, it was
Yeah.
it wasn't none of that there. You know, you pretty
Yep.
much just so. And my pops would be mad when I was a kid. He'd be like, "Man, I brought you out here to be with me. You know, you always want to go to your grandma's house." And I'm like, yeah, because there's things to do there. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? She lives
Yeah.
in the
Yep.
neighborhood.
Yep. Yeah, when you're young like that, you really don't appreciate, like if you were able to go out and walk and like I don't know, like hike and see different stuff and stuff like that. When you're young, you just want to be around other kids and all, like you said, go to the store and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I remember there was one time that my dad, because when I was younger, if one of your parents says they want to go to the store, you're like, let me go, let me go, let me go. And so my dad one time, I think it was my dad's birthday actually, that made this so much worse. But he was going to go to the store, and I want to say this was probably like 4 or 5 miles away from our house at the time. And I was like, "Oh, can I go? Can I go?" So he takes me. Now, before we leave, I remember him telling my mom or asking my mom. He was like, "You filled it up with gas or put gas in it, right?" She's like, "Oh yeah, no problem. You don't have to stop and get gas. No big deal." Man, sure enough, we were probably like 3 miles away from that store, and we run out of gas, right? And all I remember, my dad, he was cussing my mom out, like going off. and we had to walk to the store, right, to be able to get gas and come back to the car. So I remember skipping, like little kids skip around and jump around, and I was like, dude, just doing kid shit. And I remember my dad was like, knock the fuck off, like there's nothing fun about this. It was it was funny, but yeah, he was super pissed. We had to walk, but I'll never forget that because my mom just flat out lied to him. That thing was on E.
Yeah, man. Yeah, sometimes, even down south, sometimes, the walking, and for me as a kid, it would be a bit of a strain, like, because
Yeah.
we would go places as kids, like with the older kids, and this is really fucking far. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because I'm a
You
city
get,
kid,
yes, I was just gonna say you get used to when you're in a city that everything's right there. You know what I mean? And hell, you've even got if you live in an apartment complex, there's a lot of times you've got like the candy lady to where you can just go down to the apartments. You don't even have to go to the store. Like, you get used to shit like that.
Yeah, that's what they had in St. Croix, and like where my grandmom lived, and it was like a candy lady and another lady that would take Kool-Aid and freeze it and sell it in
Yeah,
little
the ice
plastic
cup.
cups. Yeah, they had those. They had those down south too. Um, but yeah, with my pops though, he would like take me to the mall, and that's this place called Sunny House, big old
That's
shopping center, and
right.
we would get I would want KFC and McDonald's and things like that. But yeah, but when I was at his house, his wife, she was a really, really good cook, man. And she would make all this good food. And I just remember when I was there as a kid reading a lot of Archie comics.
Oh yeah.
It was like a ton of Archie comic books in that house. I don't know which one of those kids were into it, but and
Yeah.
that's all I would read those things, and I started liking Archie. I started buying them when I would go with him to the supermarket or something. You know how they would have it and the thing.
Right. Yep. Who before cell phones and all that? I remember I used to beg my mom like to get the little like the rap magazines and all that, so you could get all the gossip. Like,
Yeah, right. Those things were life, man.
yeah,
Those
right? They
magazines
came
were
with the
life.
posters in them and all that.
Yeah, Word Up magazine and all of that. Yeah, man.
Yes.
That stuff was
Yep.
life, dude.
It
And I
was. It
love
was.
reading. I love reading. That was because even as a kid, I love reading. You know,
Yeah, I love to read too. Like I used to read Stephen King books when I was younger and everything. But that, and I think that might be why that's another reason why our youth is like so, upside down because with the cell phones, you don't have to, I mean, they read, but not really because how we used to read like the magazine or the books and use our imagination and when we didn't have that, we'd go outside and play and actually build shit. Like they do none of that, like literally I can't remember who I was telling this to, but if the power grid went out and, like over here, they would die. They don't know how to camp. They don't know how to fish. They don't know how to do anything but be on a phone and talk shit, like, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure it's a good thing that your son has a dad like you also to where, like, you can teach him that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you, learning things and having that it helps you along the way in life. And, you know, it's like I said, it's a good thing he's got a dad like you to where you can teach him things like that.
Yeah, man. I would live in my head a lot as a kid, and
Yep.
I would imagine that I went to Riverdale, where like Archie and them live. I
Yeah.
would imagine like, what if I went to Riverdale? You know what I mean?
Right. Did you
Yeah,
ever like read some stuff and then you'd end up having a dream about it?
yeah. That's happened in good
Yep.
ways and bad ways.
Yep.
Normally I have a bad dream if I go to before I go to sleep. If I'm thinking about like violent things, then I'll
Yeah.
have like a bad dream. I noticed that with myself. That's like a pattern, you know.
Yeah. There's a thing too that I learned. You're not supposed to eat right before you go to sleep either because that can give you nightmares. I can't remember how long you're supposed to wait. I think it's like an hour maybe or something, because I had always heard, oh, you're not supposed to eat before you go to bed because you'll get fat or whatever. But it'll give you nightmares too, I guess. I don't really know why, but yeah. That happened to me though, like 2 or 3 or 4 different times, and every time I'd wake up, I'm like, damn it, I shouldn't have ate. Like you fall asleep on
Yeah.
accident, you're like having the worst nightmare of all time.
Mhm. And those nightmares. You can feel it.
Oh
Like, you
God,
can
thank you. Thank
feel the
you.
you can feel the difference between that and a regular dream. You ever like was
Yes.
sleeping and dreaming and the dream was normal and then it kind of slipped into a nightmare? You could kind of feel it coming on, like, oh, what is this? What is
Yes.
happening here? Like, what is this turning into? And then
Yeah, you feel like uncomfortable.
right, it's like, oh no, this ain't right. And then you kind of wake up, you know. I've had like I remember having a dream that everything was normal and I was like watching TV in the living room and then I like heard a knock on the door. And that's when that eerie feeling just started creeping over me. Like, oh, this is
Ooh.
gonna turn into a nightmare. There's some bullshit at the other on the other side of that door, you know, and I just remember thinking, like, let me get the gun. And then it's like, it's probably not going to be there because you're dreaming. And then I'm like, you know what? Let me
Right?
just wake up. Like,
That's funny. Yeah, exactly. Right. Oh my goodness. I remember that there was one time I watched a lot of zombie stuff and like all that type of thing. And I can't remember what movie I had watched or I binged out on what is it? The Walking Dead series, something I did like that. And I ended up going to sleep and I have my 2 little dogs or whatever, and my dog was in my doggone dream. And I remember she had ran away from me and we had zombies chasing us, and she ended up on this hill. So like I had seen her on the hill and I'm like, oh, I gotta get my dog. So I'm like running for the dog on the hill and these zombies are chasing me. And I'm like, I'm literally gonna get ate because of this damn dog. And I woke up, but I looked at the dog and I'm like, we're too close, because when you're in my dream, like something's wrong.
yeah, man. Yeah. The worst dreams for me were the ones where you're like looking in a mirror and then that image does something independent. And you're like, I always hated mirrors. And it was in dreams, like mirrors were like, were like portals for
Yes.
me when I was a kid.
That
It's
is
really
creepy
weird.
as shit. Like, can you imagine being in your bathroom when the power goes out or something, and then like, it comes back on and there's somebody in the mirror? Or you know what really freaks me out? When you see somebody looking in a mirror and their own reflection moves against how they're moving, that creeps me out. Like when it's not another being, it's their own reflection. Like, ugh,
Right. Yeah.
that creeps
Yeah.
me the hell out. I know that oh, what was I gonna say? Dang it. I hate it when that happens. Um I know that I've been shot. Like they say it's PTSD, but I've been shot in a lot of my dreams, and like I can literally feel it, like to where when you jolt up, you're like touching yourself, like, oh God, am I shot? Like it. I hate that. That's the
Mm,
worst one for me. Mm. And I've also had nightmares where you're in your bed and you wake up but you can't move, and there's somebody at the foot of my bed, like like in all black. Like I can't see them, but I know there's like a shadow of somebody at the foot of my bed staring at me, but I can't move. Oh, that's the worst one.
yeah, I had friends that would happen to. They would tell me about it.
Really?
Fortunately, yeah, they call it sleep paralysis.
That's what it
Um,
is. I always thought
yeah.
that was when you were awake and couldn't move, but it's
Oh,
really
okay.
when
Oh,
you're.
all right. Well, yeah, that's what I was describing. Okay. Yeah, I get you now.
Yeah, but then again, if you think about it, right? Because when it happens to me, I'll literally be asleep, and sometimes I either can't move while I'm asleep, or I'm trying to wake up, but I can't open my eyes. Like I keep trying to open my eyes, but I can't open my eyes. So if you think about it, maybe it is a version of sleep paralysis, because maybe it's your body trying to get out of it and wake up, but you just don't know it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I probably had one or two cases like that, but not a lot. Fortunately, because that's terrifying for kids,
Yeah,
to go
yeah,
through.
yeah.
But
What
I
happened with
went through it.
yours? Do you remember it?
Um, ever so slightly, I just kind of like remembering like really trying to wake up And then when I finally do, I can't move.
Yep.
But it kind of went away really quick. But I just, it was like the struggle of waking up. Like, why can't I get up? Like, why can't I wake
Yes.
up?
Yep. Exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
a
it's
lot of
so creepy.
and a lot of times in my dreams, what I would do a lot too, and I would hate doing it, but I would do it. I didn't mind like jumping out of a window,
Really?
off, yeah, off of a roof. And I would hate it because that feeling of falling. But I
Oh my
knew
goodness.
yeah, I knew that I can. Dreams are weird. If you believe something, then it'll occur.
Yeah,
I would,
they don't understand dreams all the way at all. Like they still do a whole bunch of research on it and don't really know what the hell. Do you believe in the thing where or in your dreams when that would happen, did you ever hit the ground? Because you know how some people say like, "Oh, if you fall off something and you hit the ground, you die in real life." Like, have you
yeah,
heard that?
yeah, I would hit the ground. And
Really? Oh my
yeah,
god.
I
No
would hit
way.
the ground. I would hit the ground, and I would do it willingly. Like I would say, okay, I don't like it. I don't want to do this, but I got to do it. This is, and I would jump out of a window and hit the ground, and hate doing it. But I would do it.
Wow.
Yeah, like
So did you
if
ever
I
get good enough to where you could change things in your dreams? I've never been able to do that, but where they say that if you're in a dream and you can like how you said you didn't want to jump out of the window, like you'd be able to change it to where you didn't if you didn't feel like it. Like have you ever been able to change something?
yeah, a few times
That's
that
cool.
that's happened. Like one time I had a dream, and I had so much confidence in this dream, and it was like a haunted building across the street, and it was like a bunch of shit in there, like demons and zombies and whatever you can name. They were
Yeah.
all in that building, and I was able to like jump really high in a dream and just do like superhuman shit, and I that gave me the confidence to go in there. And I said, I'm gonna go in that building and test out my powers, and I went in there, and I was kicking ass in that dream. Like I had full control.
That's cool. Yeah, I've never been able to do that, but I've heard that, if you can, that it's possible. So that's kind of cool.
I've also had dreams like that when I wake up from a dream and I didn't like the way that dream went down,
Oh
and I
yeah.
and then I would say, you know what, I'm going back in there, and then you go in
Wow.
there, you kind of change things a bit, where you kind of have the upper hand now.
Right. That's cool. Yeah, I've tried that before. I'm not gonna lie. Like, where like you said, the dream was so good. You like, why did I have to wake up? But I don't think I've ever been able. No. Well, okay. I do remember that happening, but it was when I didn't want it to. It was like a nightmare. I think I used to have. I don't know if you've ever had this or if I'm weird for this, but I used to have a reoccurring nightmare that like every maybe 2 or 3 years I would have this same exact nightmare, like, and no matter what I did it would keep coming back. And I don't think I've had it in a while, but now because I brought it up I'll probably have it. But
uh,
it was so strange and it used to really bother me, and it was so, oh, it was just awful. But have you ever had like reoccurring ones? Because I've never been able to have a good dream and go back into it. Like that's the shit. Like that's awesome.
no, no, what I meant was like the dream would be bad, but toward the end I was getting courage, and then I would wake up, and then I was, and I didn't like how it was going down in that dream. Like, you know what? I'm gonna go back in that nightmare, and I'm gonna fix this shit, And then I've done that.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, I've done that. Like, but yeah, good dreams. I try to go back into, and it's you just go into another dream. It's like, well, where's the money that I just dreamt about? It's like,
Exactly. I was
it,
living this celebrity lifestyle. Where the hell did it go?
but yeah, I would have this terrible reoccurring dream as a kid where I was in school, and I'm the only one there, and it's at night, and I'm in the fucking classroom, and the school is fucking empty. I would normally just try my damnedest to wake up out of that particular dream. But
Oh,
it was
wow.
reoccurring, yeah.
Well, that
I
makes me
mean,
not feel that crazy then, because yeah, mine was it was so strange. I was no matter when I dream it, I'm the same age in the dream too. But in the dream, I want to say I was like 4 or 5 years old. I was young, and I had my dad on one side of me and my mom on the other side of me, and we were going into like a store, kind of like Walmart or something like that. And I remember turning around, and my parents were gone. Like they were nowhere. I couldn't find them. They weren't anywhere in the store. And I ended up over by like the automotive section because there were tires stacked up to the ceilings. And all of a sudden, when I turned around, there were people circled around me, and they kept getting closer to me and closer to me and closer to me. They just like none of them were saying anything. They're just like getting closer, and then I would wake up. But literally, I hated that shit. It was like my parents disappeared, and then I was being surrounded by weird people in the tire section of Walmart.
yeah, that's horrible. Yeah, that's
Yeah, like for a kid, I used to wake up and cry and everything and make sure my mom and dad were around. Like it was traumatizing, but you made me feel a little bit better because I thought something was wrong with me for a while because I kept having that dream over and over again. And when you think about it, that's weird because like your dream also, it's not like something. I mean, we don't really know why we're having that specific dream, but even through getting older, you still have that same dream. So it's almost like wondering, does your brain have like a glitch in the matrix or something like that, to where it's like, bzz, and you're gonna like dream that same dream from. That's
you know,
strange.
I think what happens with that is there's some issue that you're having with something, and that dream kind of comes in your conscious and it surfaces in your conscious.
Oh,
And
like how
I think,
dreams mean something.
yeah, like if and it might be an issue in your life that if you ever took care of, that dream would probably go away. Because I remember being a young man, like a teenager, and I would have like recurring dreams of being somewhere in like behind enemy lines,
Yeah,
and I gotta get out of there. People are trying to kill me. What was going on at the time in my life was I was involved in things that were streets. I was involved in the streets doing negative things. So
okay.
it wasn't until I got away from that type of lifestyle that where those dreams would stop. And
Right.
maybe the one with that I was having about the with the classroom. Maybe I think I was probably having that dream because maybe I was experiencing some form of anxiety about school at that time, at that age, you know.
Right. That could be true. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Like, what do you, in your opinion, what do you think that our dreams really are, or why we have them, or anything like that? Have you ever thought about it?
Yeah, I think it's your psyche, it's your subconscious mind, you know, revealing itself, coming to the surface while you're sleeping. I think that's what dreams are. It's your subconscious. It's the things that you push away, and sometimes they resurface in the form of a dream.
That's true. Ooh, oh my goodness. And then we can get off the dream thing if you want to. But there's one other thing that'll happen to me all the time. Like you've had deja vu before, right?
Hmm.
Oh my gosh, that shit annoys the hell out of me because I'll dream about something and it'll happen in real life, maybe like I don't know, a month to a year later. But while it's happening in real life, I'll think in my head for just a second, oh my God, I dreamt this because when I dreamt it, I remember it not making any sense. Now it's happening in real life, but you can't stop it in real life. Like it plays out like it
Hmm.
did in your dream. Like that shit is weird.
Right. I'm always not sure if it was a dream where I seen this before, or if I actually seen this before. I'm not always sure if it's a dream, but I know that that feeling of deja vu, very strange thing. You know,
Yes.
it's you know you often wonder, is my mind glitching? Like, what is this thing? Because I can't say for certain that I watched this play out in a dream. I can never be certain about it. For me anyway. So it's just weird. It's like,
You just screwed my whole thing up now thinking that because I have always thought that, oh yeah, I dreamt this, right? Well, and I mean, I know a lot of the times I've been able to, sometimes I'll wake up and it'll be so life altering that I'll write it down, because my mom was like, well, start writing them down and then, you'll remember them if it happens or whatever. But it literally, uh, it's just, I think I've always remembered, whether this is right or wrong, but I've always been like, okay, I dreamt that because I know that it'll flap in my memory. Like when I did dream it, when I woke up from the dream, I was like, that makes no sense. Why would I be cooking macaroni with my dog on my shoulder? Something weird like that when I dream it. And then literally a couple months down the line or a year down the line, I'm cooking macaroni with my dog on my shoulder because, somebody put him on my shoulder or something that would make sense to where it would happen. But that's really interesting how you said that you're not sure if you dreamed it or not, like maybe you saw it, or that's a whole different outlook on it. That's really interesting. But like you said, it's very, very tricky because how does that make any sense? Like they always say that, or I've heard that everybody has a little bit of like, psychic in them. But when you think about it, is being psychic or having these type of things happen, is it just a replay and maybe we're remembering? Like maybe it's not just being psychic. Like I don't know. That shit is deep.
yeah, yeah, I believe in like I believe that it's a lot deeper than what we're just seeing. There's things
Yeah.
behind the surface that we just don't know. You
Do
know,
you believe in how people say that there's like an alternate dimension of us, like, or an alternate, I don't, people name it different things, but like it's basically like a whole nother realm and that's happening right now as you and I are talking. It, like we are over ourselves. I don't know how to explain it, but ourselves are over in this realm, but we can be doing something different. Like it's like we've got another life happening in another dimension at the same time. And people will say that like when weird things like that happen, it's our other something, or I don't know how to explain it, but it gets weird, like you said, to where, is it multi-dimensional or is it just our brains having a stupid day? Like, it's weird. I wish we knew the answers to that stuff.
yeah, like I don't believe that UFO come from like different galaxies. I believe that they're coming out of different dimensions. I remember watching a program on that.
That's really interesting and makes a lot of sense because why in the hell, especially recently, right, they've been able to, I can't remember what special I was watching, but it was a brand new one on space, and they were actually able to see, I mean, trillions of years away from us, to where like ungodly far, to where it's just stupid to even think about, unfathomable to think about. um they were able to see and listen because of a satellite they sent up like 15, 20 years ago, that far, and they still can't detect any living anything or any noise or any, which should be easy because space is devoid of all noise. So if we're not, if we're seeing UFOs or if we're seeing, weird things and we can't find another living organism for trillions of years away, there has to be other dimensions. There has to be,
Yeah,
because it's coming from somewhere.
hmm I was talking to a atheist about that, and I said,
Oh wow.
yeah, I said, one of the reasons why I believe that there's a God is I say to myself, how are we the only ones here in the middle of this huge infinite solar system? There's
Right.
no planet, there's no planet that can sustain life. as we know it.
Right.
Nowhere. They haven't found any. And people, he's like, no, they found planets like that. And I'm like, they kind of say that in the title, but when you look into it, it's not a planet like Earth. We still wouldn't be able to survive on that planet.
Exactly.
Because I've looked into those so-called planets, like, hey, they found this giant planet that's like 40% like Earth,
I
and
clicked on that shit too. Yeah, that was clickbait. That
yeah, and you still couldn't live there.
nope.
You have planets where it gets so hot that the rocks melt and become a part of the atmosphere, and then when it cools down a little bit, it starts raining fucking boulders.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we couldn't survive on any planet like that.
Exactly. Did you ever watch do you like to watch like space movies and stuff like that?
Yeah.
There was a movie, I don't think it was Gravity. No, because that was the one where she ended up the spaceship got ruined and was it Gravity? No, she was alone in the spaceship on that one. Okay. It was another one that came out around that same time, and it literally scared the piss out of me because they sent and I know I'm gonna have to rewatch it because I can't even remember the name of it, but they sent up in space I want to say it was 4 or 5 different astronauts, and they were supposed to all go to different planets and stay there for I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and then they would pick everybody up and go back to Earth and give their reports. And something went wrong. I can't remember what went wrong, but they ended up going to different planets or planets they weren't supposed to or some shit like that. And one of the planets, one of the girls fell on this certain planet, right? And they entered the orbit of it and they went to save her. And it was so strange because when they landed on the planet, they could see her just hitting the water where she had fell into it, but she was dead already because on that planet the time went slow, like say how me and you were talking, and 5 minutes from now we'll be talking about something else. It would still be her on YouTube just bringing you on the panel. Like it actually almost went in reverse. The time would go so slow on that planet, and they kept trying to go back to the planet and save her, like to catch her right when she came into orbit before she died, and they couldn't do it. But that shit was weird. Every planet had something different that was messed up like that. That was freaky
Yeah.
movie though. I've got to figure
Yeah,
out what it was.
I like to think of the other realm or dimension or spirit realm or whatever. I like to imagine it. I think it's more than just one, by the way.
I was gonna ask you that. Like, what do you think it really is? Like, do you believe in ghosts and stuff like that? Oh, I can barely hear you. Oh no.
Can I drop out and come back in?
Oh, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Well,
It was weird. It was like all of a sudden you just went really quiet. But go ahead.
Yeah. You know how our world is made up of matter, mainly matter.
Yes.
I think the other dimension is probably made up of antimatter mainly.
Really?
Like the place where like demons come from, for instance.
Right.
Their world is probably made up of mainly antimatter. I find it strange when people talk about paranormal activities, they always say how when they sensed it, another presence, like their immediate area changes. Like the room gets really cold.
Right. Yeah, that's
There's a
true.
certain type of smell. It's almost as if this being had to like somewhat alter your atmosphere for his presence to be there, almost.
That makes a lot of sense, like how you explained it, like that, because you're right. You're right on the money to where you people say smells or temperature and they've tried to explain it you know, a million different ways, like, oh, it's because of the certain lighting, or they said that they'll pull energy from water or electricity, or, you know, which maybe they're using that, true enough, but maybe that's what it's taking for that portal to open.
Right. So yeah, I believe that, but yeah, I remember reading up on this study. These two top scientists were doing study on UFO phenomenon,
Uh-huh.
and they you know, both of them were at first they were both thinking that maybe they're coming from other galaxies, but then by the end of their study, they both came to the conclusion that they were coming from a different dimension. They were coming out of a different dimension.
Wow. Well, and it makes sense because they show up in the middle of nowhere, no matter what time of day, no matter what time of night. Nobody sees where they come from, and they disappear just as quick. And even if they are way more intelligent than us and they have way more advanced aircraft, it's still almost like I said before, unfathomable how fast they can change or cloak or whatever they're doing. And there's definitely something there because, like you said, you caught a special. I was watching one where police officers, military personnel, like reliable people that would not make the shit up, were actually saying, "I saw this shit. I was scared, and I can't explain it." You know?
Hmm.
Have you ever seen the movie The Mist?
No, I haven't seen that one.
You haven't? Okay, it's based off a Stephen King book, and it probably came out maybe like, I don't know, 11, 12 years ago, but oh my god, you have to watch that movie. It's basically, and I'm not going to give it up, but it's about a man and his wife, and I think they had a son, and they're up like Rhode Island ish, someplace like that. And he goes to the grocery store one day, and all of a sudden the air horns in the town start going off, and they're telling everybody to stay where they're at, like in the grocery store or at home or whatever. And all of a sudden this big fog rolls through, and basically these weird creatures are destroying, you know, humans and stuff like that. But they say the military was able to somehow open a portal, and that's where all those things were coming from. So it's kind of like what you're talking about. And boy, the things that were coming out of that shit, I mean, that was crazy.
Yeah, I seen one movie called Cloverfield.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Yeah, and it's like there's like two other ones that's connected to it, but they're so different from each other. It goes into like this whole alien shit, and like that monster from the first Cloverfield actually like came from like another dimension or something. It's just not
Uh,
supposed to be here. But
okay,
by
I
the
was
but
wondering.
yeah, but by the time you get to the last one, they're like in space. But like you said, the time is all fucked up, and
Yeah.
they're like dealing with alternate versions of themselves, and it's like the universe tries to correct it by having them kill each other on a ship, and you know it's weird. But anyway, one of the girls that was out in space, they like save her and they send her back to Earth in like a pod. And
Uh-huh.
the dude that's at the base, he's like, why the fuck would you send her back here? You got these fucking monsters, like those Cloverfield monsters, were all over Earth just tearing shit up. They were all like
Oh,
full grown.
wow.
And he's like, she's gonna fucking die. No, you know, like, why would you send her back here? Like, no, you know, it's just weird. It was a real good
Wow.
movie
I
though.
know that I saw that. I have the first one on DVD, and I've watched it a couple of times, and I always wondered like where in the hell that big ass thing came from. But and the things in the tunnel and all that. But I saw that they had put out another one, but I never watched it. So I'm glad that you saw them because, you know, I wanted to see them, but I didn't know that. I hate it when you watch a movie and you like it and you're interested in it and they leave you on a cliffhanger. But I hate it when they make a part two and it has nothing to do with the movie that you saw the first one. I hate that.
Yeah, but
I
yep,
really can't stand it.
that's a good one. Like the Cloverfield joint, that was good. A lot of it got bad reviews from a lot of people, but I
It
liked it.
did. You know, some of the best movies I've ever seen though are ones that people have told me sucked.
Right.
You know, that's crazy. Well, that's like, and a lot of times I'll go to like stores or, oh, what are they called? Like secondhand stores and look at movies because you can get them shit like way cheap, like at like restores and like pawn shops, and like you can get DVDs and like whatever from there that are really cheap, right? So, um, I like to go there because you can find movies that like aren't even, they're either not made anymore or, um, you know, they're just hard to find movies. And I ended up bringing one home one day, and it turned out to be so good. But it was called Buried, and it was about this guy that was working overseas in like Saudi Arabia or somewhere, and he ended up getting kidnapped by the terrorists, and they buried him, and they put a note and a lighter and like a, a phone, I think, in the coffin thing with him. And they wanted him to call people and have him wire like $1 million to their bank account or whatever like that. Otherwise, they were going to leave him down there and he would die. But that movie, I don't want to tell you about it because you've got to see it. But let's just say that they thought they were there and they thought they had found him, but it ended up, and the sand was pouring in on him while he's talking to the rescuers, and like it ended up they found the guy that the terrorists had buried before him, not him, so it was too late. But oh my god, that shit had me standing up and hollering at the TV.
Yeah, I seen a movie similar to that where they kidnapped some guy's son and buried him,
Mm.
and you know the dude is weird because he the guy that he thought kidnapped his son, he captured, and he didn't want to turn him into the police. He kept him in like a basement, and he was torturing this guy
Oh,
until this
nice.
guy told him where his son was. And the guy wouldn't say anything. The guy just wouldn't break. He has this dude in the basement for like weeks,
Oh, wow.
thinking of different torments. And it's weird because it's like he doesn't want to torture the guy, but it's like, yo, that's my son.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you know, that's a pretty good movie. It has a weird twist too at the end. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that sounds pretty neat. That's crazy. I've always thought vigilante justice, I think, can be a really good thing, but it's a very slippery slope.
yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to talk if your phone was. But it's very slippery because a lot of things. Recently, actually, there was a girl, a younger chick. I think she's in her 20s, where her brother had gotten shot and killed, and she went and killed the boy that she thought killed her brother. But she's arrested and she's gonna have to go to court and everything. And I kind of think like, okay, well, if she got her brother's killer, good for her. But at the same time, we're not gonna really know. And how did she know? Because you really have to have proof on that, because it can be, you can get the wrong person big time. I've seen, and I'm pretty sure you have too, on TV where they've done specials where hitmen have been hired and they kill the wrong people, or the targets have actually moved out of a house, but the killer still goes and they end up killing the new family and not the target family. Like, oh my god, that's just horrible. It can go left
Yeah,
real quick.
yeah, it can't go left. That's kind of like what ends up happening in the movie somewhat. Like
Oh
it
really?
takes yeah, it
No.
takes like a kind of a crazy turn like that, where it's like, you know, the person you least expect was the one who actually had his son, and the guy he captured was actually a victim himself. Like it's weird.
Oh
Like when yeah,
no.
the guy really feels like crap. He's like, oh man, you know, I really torturing this guy.
Oh my goodness, that's horrible. I know he would too. It's like you're a dad, you want to get to your son, so he's a good-hearted person. He's not like any kind of bad guy. And then you find out like, oh, that would suck. You'd be like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, man.
horrible. I don't even know how you'd make that up to somebody, right?
hmm You ever see that movie, They Live by John Carpenter?
I
Everyone's
don't
seen that.
what is it called again?
They Live. It has the wrestler in it, Roddy Piper.
I think so. It's older, right?
Yeah, it's like the 80s.
Yeah, I think so. It sounds familiar.
Yeah, that
What
was a
about it?
dope one. No, no,
Was
it
it?
was
Oh, it
just
was
yeah,
good.
it's a pretty good movie.
I remember there was that's another thing too that doesn't really. I mean, maybe they're out there. I just don't know about them. But you know, when we were growing up, and they used to have like positive kid movies, like where the kid would meet like a grown up guy that I remember Sylvester Stallone did a movie. God, I can't remember the name of it, but he ended up taking a kid, or I think it was his son, and they didn't have a good relationship, and he ended up teaching his son all this cool stuff, and then he ends up making a bunch of money, and like you know, like those feel good movies where
Yeah,
like,
that I remember that movie actually.
yeah,
That's called Over the Top. I loved
oh
all the
my God,
Stallone
yes,
movies.
it is.
Yeah, I loved all of his movies back then. He was just super fucking cool. Like
Yeah, he
his
was.
look was cool. Over the top. He was
Yep.
cool in that. He was like a trucker, and like
Yes. Yep.
his baby mom had died, and her father was like this rich dude that had custody over the kid, and,
Yes.
and he's like this rough trucker. He's like into arm wrestling competition, and he's trying to
That's what it
win this
was.
big
Yep,
truck.
it
Yeah.
was.
Those were like 80 movies, like like real action packed kind of movies. Like
Yeah. But they were still cool enough movies to where, like, you know, kids could watch them. Like, there might have been a little bit of cussing in it, or there might have been a little bit of violence, but like, it was still okay. Like nowadays, um, I don't know. It's like they don't make movies like that anymore. It's either super, super cartoonish like Disney, or it's just totally like uh, I don't know. They just don't make them like that, or you know what I mean? Like, if they do have younger kids in them, or if it's a kid movie, it's just too much. And I don't know. I just don't. They don't make them like Goonies. Goonies was the
yeah,
shit. They
yeah,
went out
Goonies
and went
was
on
fun.
their adventure and everything. Yeah, like they don't make shit like that. Like they don't. You know, kids aren't taught to use
Those
imagination.
the Goonies, like those people that kidnapped them, they were like pedophile child killers. Um, I think that the older woman, she was in a lot of movies back then.
Yeah, she was.
I think she was like having sex with one of her sons or something. She loved one son more than the other.
Yes.
Those movies, it was like a weird twist to it. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was just fun movies to watch as a kid.
Yeah, it was. I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about because I remember she ends up smacking the shit out of one of them, and he's like, "What'd you smack me for?"
Yeah,
Because that happens everywhere, right? Like, oh my goodness. But yeah, I miss like I don't know. There's just no good kids movies to me anymore. Not that I'd be watching a whole bunch of kids movies, but I just keep trying to think, you know, what's going to happen to our younger generation, like, because it doesn't look good to me at all. And when we get old, they're supposed to be the ones that we have brought up or taught things to and everything else, and you know, then they take over and all that. When it's like they don't really have a lot of people, you know, people aren't growing up with two-parent households, or even not that you have to be a two-parent household, but like you do, to where like you co-parent, and it's, you know, okay. It's not like teeth and nail pulling every time, you know, you try to flop the kid back and forth. It's just so horrible. Kids are seeing so much. Like, oh well, perfect example. Do you go to Shitty Greg's?
no.
Okay, do you go to, who else watches him? Who, Lady La, like, do you go to her channel?
Sometime I might watch it every now and then.
Okay, have you heard about like the two girls on Bigo and her young kid that are like going ape shit on there?
You know what? I did hear something like that where the kid is like the star of the show and he's like curses them out and stuff, right?
Oh my God, you would die. It's horrible. He's like 6 years old, and it's his mom is just like mentally 6 years old right with him. And he literally cusses and hits her, and like, you know, it's horrible. It's horrible. And she just thinks it's fucking hilarious, and it's not at all. Um, it's just not. And what's worse is he's been cussing enough to where it makes sense when he does it. Like, it's not like a normal 6 year old. Like, say if they heard a cuss word and it slipped out and they were like, I don't know, how would it, you know, like a kid, it's not going to come out making much sense, or they will just shout the cuss word alone on its own. This kid will cuss like you or I. Like literally drop something and he'll be like, "Oh shit." Or if somebody is on their live and they'll be like, "Oh, you need to get your stuff together, yada yada yada." He'll be like, "Shut up, bitch. I'm gonna beat your ass and make you suck my dick." Like no lie.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
Like
crazy.
yes, like he will say it like a grown person, like sentence form and everything. And she'll just sit there and laugh. She thinks it's hilarious. And it worries me so bad because his whole future is going to be ruined just because she's letting him do shit like that. Like he won't listen to her already. Like she'll try to get him to go to bed at like 1, 2 in the morning. He won't do it. Like until they turn that live off, he will not, go to bed. And she doesn't, she did. I don't know. She treats him more like a friend or something more than a kid. Like it's weird. And I think
Yeah,
way too
she's
many people are doing that. Yeah, if you're not
mhm,
learning any kind of respect or discipline, he's going to be whooping her ass when he's like 14 and stealing her
yeah,
car. You
yeah.
know, she won't
Hmm.
think it's cute then.
Yep. He's gonna
But
be stealing money from her out of her
yep,
purse. Yeah, that's when I was coming up, people they hated to see a kid acting grown. Like that
yep,
was a huge no-no,
yep.
and my grandmother on my mom's side, she let me get away with pretty much anything, but that was the one thing that she would draw the line at, me acting grown. I remember
Right.
one time I had she had a friend. He was like an uncle, but he wasn't really related to us, but he was like a family friend in the family.
Uh
And
huh.
he was very nice to me too. Like used to let me get away with, borderline stuff. And one day I said to him, I said, Uncle John Burroughs, sit your ass down. My grandmother heard me, and boy,
Ooh,
oh boy, she got to whip my ass. And she never beat me, like, but that's where she would draw the line at, Yeah,
right.
he's gonna be a huge handful for her when he gets older. I
Yeah.
don't know
Well,
what
and
she's
he's going
gonna
to be
do.
a handful for everybody else too. Like if you think about it, he's being homeschooled right now. So, and I had asked a question, um, to I think it was on Lady Law's panel one night. I was like, does he act like this in front of his dad? And nobody really knew, right? And one day I had gone on Bigo and I caught their live, and it just so happened somebody had put in their chat, "Does he act like this in front of his dad?" And the girl Michelle, the chunkier one, she had chuckled and she was like, "No, there's no way he'd act like this in front of his dad." Now the dad is locked up, and they don't know how long he's going to be in there. He got caught for armed robbery or some shit like that, so it's going to be a while. And he violated probation, so it'll be a while. So it's just all balls to the wall with them, and it's so I don't know. Like she knows enough to know not to make him or not to let him do that in front of the dad, but you're letting him do it, and you're teaching him basically how to do shit and keep it behind somebody's back, like how to lie and how to hide shit. And
Hmm.
if you're gonna hide it, if she's showing him it's okay to lie to your own dad, he's definitely not going to give a shit about anybody else when he's growing up. Like he's going to end up cussing in school if they do go back to school. Um, I just see like so many problems with this kid, and it's all going to be because she just let him do whatever.
Yeah, that's terrible. And then, yeah, and that happens a lot.
It
That happens
does.
a lot, man. I can't really explain it, but a lot of women today, that's what they a lot of people these women they say, oh, these men are this and they that, and I can't find a good man and all of this stuff. But a lot of times it's like, yo, these men came from women like
Yes.
you.
Yep.
Where you think these men come from? They
Yep.
come out of these single parent households, and they're coming from women like you. Like a man, it has that. A boy needs a man around,
Right.
because you can't. There's a lot of men out here that are like basically women. They're like
Yep.
strong, testosterone filled women. They're men, but they're the way they think are like women. They think like women. They want to be taken care of by a woman. They want to live under a woman. Um, you can't tell them nothing. They're over emotional.
Yep.
Quick to put their hands on somebody,
Yep.
not thinking about the consequences. They get that shit from their mother,
Yep.
and that's like you can't put like what works for women don't work for men.
Exactly.
Like a man can't run off of the game that a woman can run off of.
Right.
You need the game that's meant for men. And the
Yep.
game that's meant for men is, be responsible, work for what you want. You know what I'm saying? Don't stoop to this level. Don't be so emotional. Think logically. That's
Right.
game for men. Women can get away with that type of stuff because they're women. But
Right.
you being a man and you going out here thinking you gonna operate like how you see your mother operate, because a lot of these chicks, they off the hook. You know, um,
Mhm.
they go to school, curse the teacher out. Motherfucker got on a goddamn do rag on her head, or that shit they go to sleep in, just looking
Yeah, the
crazy.
bonnets.
Yeah, in the school looking crazy. Don't give a fuck about nothing. Just cursing out the damn teacher, knowing her
Yep.
baby is wrong. Kid done did some fucked up shit. You in there cursing out the goddamn teacher. I see it every day. You know,
Yep.
um, yeah, they have this attitude, man, that they can just like kind of just go off on anybody. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I don't know where women get that shit from. But yeah, you see a lot of aggressive women, but see, they can get away with it because they women. Now, when they teach that shit to their sons get out here and do that shit. Unfortunately, a lot of them end up getting shot, killed by the police, put
Yep.
in jail. You see what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of situations where, yeah, this officer's a dickhead, but you sitting there escalating this shit, you yelling at shit, nigga, just show him your ID and shut the fuck up. You sitting there,
Right.
that wasn't me. I was at Leroy house. Oh, this is some bullshit. Why are you doing all that, man? That's
Right.
that they get that shit from their mother. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a big thing too that I think like I'm a tomboyish type of girl, and I, know a lot of tricks about, just fixing stuff like guys do, and things of that nature, but I'll be the first one to admit it. There's no way that I could raise a boy child into a man. Like, I think a lot of girls think that they can do that if they act tough or if they know certain things, but there's no, you can't. Just like a man can't really teach a girl girly things like a girl can. Like, it's just the thing. Like, boy kids, they need their dads. Dads put their foot down when normally a girl might, let the kid get away with it. You know what I mean? Like, that's why, the mom dad dynamic is usually a good thing, because when the mom caves into the kid, the dad's there to be like, oh, we're not doing that shit, or vice versa.
Mhm.
So, just like you said, when you take that away, then you've got, one parent taking on a double parent task, and that kid's going to learn how to manipulate that parent to get what they want, how to wear the parent down to get their way, and, just types of different things, to get over. So you've got that going on, and then you've got a lot of girls, they end up growing up and not liking their household, or their household is not a very good, place to be at. So if they're not old enough to work, the next thing that they're going to do is think to themselves, okay, well, if I go out and get pregnant, I can get my own place, I can get food stamps, I can get this and this and this. But yet they're so young, they're how people say you've got babies raising babies. So you end up having girls that'll go out, meet a kid either their age or older, get pregnant, have the kid, even though they don't really want it, even though the boy doesn't want it. They end up not being together, but yet she's got her apartment and now she's on Section 8.
Mhm. That's why I say a lot of women, if you're gonna get with a dude that got some game and some polish about himself. He could teach you a thing or two, or manage you if you're gonna be in that type of lifestyle.
Yes.
But don't just be jumping out there by yourself, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, a lot of these, even it's sometimes the most those mothers be detrimental to the daughters too, because the daughters get the game from the mother as well. And
Yep.
that dusty, that low down dusty, ratchet project game. And
Right.
it ain't you done learned that shit from your mama, and that shit ain't work for her. She's still stuck in the projects.
Right.
And then
Well, do
you
you
come
know
out.
though? You've probably seen this, but I've actually seen mothers try to sabotage or keep their own children back from going up and making something of themselves because they're miserable. Like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
really bothers me. I've seen that a lot. And that even with the military, like when I came home after basic and you do 30 days of hometown recruiting, we would go to people's houses and it would be people that came in and inquired to a recruiter. So I would say maybe 5 to 6 out of 10 families that we would go to where the kid wanted to go in the military, the mom, because I don't think we ever saw like a dad say this, but it would be the mother saying, no, when you graduate high school, if you do, you're going to get a job. You got to take care of mom. Like you're not going in the white man's army. Like you're not going to do it. Like it was so crazy to where the poor kid, you could see just their whole dreams being crashed right there in their face. But because that was mom, they feel like they have to do that.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of these men, they taught at an early age to almost like somewhat worship the woman. That's why a lot of these men, but see, they don't really. It's weird, man. A lot of times women don't even really be attracted to that type of dude,
Right.
but but they raise them to be like that. Like a lot of these men that come up in those households where it ain't nothing but women around, a lot of
Yep.
them they grow up to be homosexuals, man, because they long for they want to know what it's like to have a father. They never had that father, that strong figure around. They grow up to be gay, man. A lot
Yep.
of them grow up like that because they still have that need for something masculine to be around,
Yep.
you know, and
I
then
have a
they,
really good example of that. Let me see. If anybody's in here watching too and you want to be super nice and hit that like or throw a donation, I'm going to try to put my thing in here again since I'm learning. I'm always trying to get this in line here. Cece said that I pinned my Cash App earlier, but I'm going to try to put it. How do I do this? I have to concentrate on one thing. I'm coming. Okay, there it is. So $. Okay, now put it in there. Yay! Okay. Okay, but a really good example of this that I watched unfold in front of me. The two boys that were my stepsons, I had been around since they were very, very young. Like the one was like 2 and the other one was 1 or a little bit younger. And we had the oldest one a lot of times, or I would have him. Like I think they lived with me nonstop for like almost 4 years, up until recently. So I always had the oldest one. The oldest one, his father was still with his mother for a little while after he was born, and then they ended up breaking up when she was pregnant with the younger one. And the father was in his life, still is in his life, but wasn't there while she had him and stuff like that. Now he would always tell me, he was like, you're going to start to see a difference in them because of the younger one always being with his mom and only being with us, every now and then, between the older one that was with us most of the time. And I was like, I haven't really seen a difference, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm around them all the time. And he's like, no, just wait, right? And I started to see it to where, like you said, first of all, the boys in the household are only around a bunch of females a lot of times because you don't see fathers in the neighborhood, or if you see guys in the neighborhood, they're usually just hitting and leaving. Or you see a lot of gay guys that they're around. So if they are around any kind of masculinity, it's usually gay, like you said. Literally the youngest boy, if he gets mad over anything, it can be the most minor thing that a normal guy wouldn't get mad at. He ends up blowing up. The first thing he does is he'll start talking back to you if he doesn't get his way. Then he'll start raising his voice. Then he'll start to throw shit. Then he'll start literally throwing himself. you know, you can literally see him doing what women do when they don't get their way. And I could not believe it, because I told him, I was like, what 10-year-old do you know that literally balls and throws a tantrum when they can't get their way? Like, you need to stop. Like, you look ridiculous out here. So the next thing I noticed was that he would, like, I would catch him twerking, and this is a boy. I would catch him twerking, or he would like do female moves or movements that, like, you know, a normal boy shouldn't do, like that I don't do when I'm a girl. Like, you know, it was strange. Like, you could just see the different dynamics. So what you said is 1,000,000% true. If they are around a bunch of female energy and no masculinity, it shows. Because this boy is not homosexual at all, as far as I know, and he was living with me for years, but he acts feminine as shit more than I do. And that is weird.
Yeah, that's what he looks up. That's what he has to look up to. That's why I'm glad I grew up in the era that I did, because
Yes.
my mom and my father were separated. My father was there, but I wasn't around him that often. You know, he worked a lot. But see, we went outside and we played, we did things, and we would be around each other and older peers. You know, we had older peers. You
Yeah.
know, we would always wrestle with the older boys. You know, cousins. You
Right.
know, they friends. The old, you know, they would throw us around, body slam us, all kind of shit. You know,
Right.
and you know, so the men were around. You know, it was more of a community thing when I was coming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was like there was one dude that lived in our building. His name was Scott. He was an older kid. He was an older boy, and he was doing things. He was like on the swim team, and you know he came from a very well-to-do family. And he would let us come to his house and play the Nintendo. That nigga had like 50 Nintendo cartridges. You know, we loved
Damn.
going to Scott House, man. And he was
Yeah,
into
I can
karate and shit.
imagine, right?
Yeah, and he was an older dude. We had that growing up. When we was kids, right? Me and my god brother, I had a god brother and a god mother. This lady treated me like as if I was her very own son.
Oh.
Me and her son was this exact same age. So I spent a lot of time with her too. And we would play games, and if we couldn't get past like certain levels of the game,
Uh-huh.
those older dudes that we knew, they come by and beat the game for us. They get, they older.
Oh, that's
So,
cool.
so that's how it was. Kids, we wasn't as isolated as kids are today. You know.
Right. Well, they don't want to leave the house. Like I would have to drag him outside. Like, you know, I get the being inside and playing video games. I get that, but when you just want to be inside to be in grown folks' business, you know what I mean? Like you said, back in the day, you know, you would always hear, you know, stay in a kid's place. Like, don't, you know, get out of a grown folks conversation and all that, you know, and if you didn't, you got, you know, smacked out of it. So it was known you just didn't go there. So nowadays they'll literally sit like around, you know, if you've got a friend over and you're talking grown people stuff, like I would notice he would just start to linger around and try to, you know, and why is that interesting to a kid? Like that, it shouldn't be gossip or grown folks talk should not be interesting to a kid that should be outside having fun and
I
playing.
know, right? That's crazy. And I'm right now envisioning myself as a kid. I didn't even want to hear all that shit. Like I ain't,
Exactly.
I would have been like me as a kid, if I was like had to be with my mom for that day or whatever, man, I'd be off doing some other shit, man, playing with G.I. Joes or something. I didn't want
Exactly.
to hear what she had to say. When her friends would come over and shit, like I thought they was boring as hell. Like that was the boringest shit to me. I would
Right.
be off doing something else. I damn sure wasn't up under her, like all up in her business and shit. But
Right.
adults were more adult like back then too. You know,
That's very true. Yeah, because you've got nowadays, it's almost like the kids are more mature than the parents sometimes.
right?
Like I
Yeah,
used
a
to
lot
tell
of
my ex, I was like, stop acting like your shoe size. You know what I mean? Because he would literally act like I'd tell him all the time. Because the kids would have more respect for me than they did their own father, and he would always be like, I don't understand why. Da, 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 da. And I was like, because you act like their friend, or you sit there and say like, oh, you're in trouble. I'm going to punish you. Da, 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 and then you never do. You know what I mean? Like you're not asserting any kind of authority, so they're just running over you.
right. Yeah, man. Yeah, my son. I don't know, man. It's just I think with the like our energy is just different, and kids could pick up on that. Like the energy is just different with like having
True.
like a man being around, But a lot of times that's all boys want, man. That's why so many of us, you know, once we turn like 13, 14, we start getting into trouble
Right.
because we're looking for that male
Yep.
role model. And a lot of times a lot of these kids they doing that shit for validation from the older kids that they're around. They showing off for
Exactly.
them, they like, look, if I could be a knucklehead, I do some knucklehead shit. And these niggas is encouraging me to do it, and they giving me props for that. Like,
You are exactly 100% right. And
so
it's
yeah, man,
wild too because they're too young to know that they're ruining their own future.
right.
Like you said, we're supposed to be here to help them and lead them in the right way. And, when nobody's around doing that for them, it's just sad a lot of the times that because there's a lot of smart kids out there that they could do a bunch more with their life than what they're doing and they don't even know it.
Yeah, my son, man, he always was up under me though, man. And
That's good.
yeah, he's like me. You can see it. Like you gotta be careful around kids because they mimic you. You know,
Yes.
everything I do, he do. Like I walk around the house with my shirt off and my boxers, and he does that. And his mom's like, "Well, you stop doing that?" Like, 'cause you know, over there, she probably want him to have his pajamas on or whatever. Put on some shorts
Yeah.
and a shirt. It's cold in here, boy. But he like me. He just walk around, no shirt, boxers, just chilling. You know what I mean? So they they do take on your traits. You know what I mean? They look
Yep.
up to you. You know what I mean? You everything to them.
Yep.
I
That's
sit there
cute.
and that's what I want. I want my son, my approval to be very important to my son. I, I
Right.
I sat with him and watched all of those 80s karate
Did you?
movies and shit. Yeah, yeah, we watched the Karate Kid.
Aw.
Uh, we watched. There was one karate movie I liked when I was a kid. I put him on to it. It's called damn. It's a real old one. It's like an American joint though.
I'm trying to
No
think.
retreat, no retreat, no surrender.
I
No
think I've
retreat, no
seen it.
surrender. Yeah, we watched that together. The Last Dragon. You know, so yeah, it's crazy when you think about it.
Oh no. Maybe his phone died. That's crazy. Oh my god. That's creepy as shit, actually. I've never had that happen before. When somebody disappears that quick and we're over here talking about aliens and shit like that. Oh hell no. That was creepy. He got yanked out of this bitch. Wow. Now I'm back up here by myself. Well, everybody that's in here, hello. Hope you guys are doing cool. Say something in the chat if you want to. Seahawks was up here, and then Harlem was up here, but the aliens snatched him, I guess. And we were just talking about children, and my conversations kind of bounce off the walls and go everywhere, don't they? I've been talking about serial killers with Cece. Then we were talking sinkholes, dog bridges, bridges in general, hair. And then me and Harlem have been talking about all, what do you call it? Different realms and universes and books and childcare. Hell yeah. But I'm glad people have called in today. It makes me feel a little bit better. Starting out anything, being the new person is kind of, you kind of get hesitant about it. You question yourself. Not really like, it's just weird being up here, and unless somebody's up here, you're just talking to yourself. And you don't really know what people want to hear, so you just kind of just run with it, I guess. But hopefully I'm doing okay at it and I get better. Hopefully. We shall see, we shall see. And then half of it was my puppy squeaking her toy in the background. That happens, so I guess when you have dogs. His phone probably died or something, because I know I had to plug mine in. Hopefully charges a little bit. Dang. There must be other people. I'm trying to check on something real quick. So if anybody's in here, I'm still here. So say something or talk, please. I'm just trying to check on something real quick. Because I think there might be other people going live. That's probably why I'm alone up here. Trying to see if I can mess with the banner thing. Because it is still not letting me do it. I don't know why. Everybody can get those cool little things scrolling across the bottom. And I'm just not able to do that. What the hell? My neighbor's out there making like a shit ton of noise. What the hell? Oh my God, what the heck? It literally sounds like he's drilling into pavement or something, and it's like dark outside. I have no idea what he's doing. This shit is loud though. I'll probably sit up here a little bit longer, and then if I don't get anybody, I'm just gonna shut it down, shut it down. Alrighty. I think no, it still didn't show up. This thing is stupid. I'm never gonna be able to do a banner in this thing. Ever. There's some sort of banner vendetta against me on the StreamYard. I forgot to ask Cece about that. Of course, she might not know about it though because she doesn't do channel things, but I keep trying to do it and it doesn't work. Okay, I got the link down there again. All right. All right. I'm gonna give it like 2 or 3 more minutes and then I'm gonna close it down because I'm just in here talking to myself. But I had fun. I'm glad Cece came up here and Harlem Tales came up here. I appreciated it. Thank you, you guys. I had fun. I had fun. Maybe I'll go live a little bit later since I have no life. But thank you everybody for coming. I had a good time.